I'm Nick Von Walkerbarth, and you're listening to the VonDubCast. If you don't want to listen to me gap in the intro and you want to skip right to the interview, skip about 6 minutes. Before you do, please consider doing one of these couple things that really helps out the show. Following the social medias for the VonDubCast, subscribing, and leaving a review. If you could do those things, that'd be awesome. Also, give me a subscription on the YouTube channel. That'd be great too. Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 90 of the VonDubCast. Got a kind of a different one for you guys today. I know I talk a lot about podcasting, just the medium and how much I believe in it and how many different ways. I just think it's such an untapped resource of different ways you can take it. That's enough of the barking on the podcast. You know better than that, Miss Puppy. And this is kind of one of those things I've wanted to try. So as you guys might have heard on one of the intros or outros, that my sister just got married the other day. It was a beautiful day, and everything came together really nice, and there was a lot of stories around it. And one of the things I wanted to offer to Liam and Courtney when they got married was a chance to just sit down and converse, but kind of in the podcast format, some ways or another, to just get all the stories out right away, to try and remember everything that happened on the day. I know you have videographers and photographers for that, but for some reason, the stories is what's important to me. And it's always fun to look at the pictures and watch a couple of videos, but just to remember all the interstitial stuff and how it made you feel. I just thought it'd be cool to kind of just put something on the record for it. And then in 10 years, 20 years, you can look back on it, have a listen to this, and just kind of take you back through that week before and that day. Enough dog. Hey, off. Sorry, my puppy is going after my old puppy, my parents' puppy, who is 13, deaf, blind, and 4 pounds. And all Soka wants to do is play with her. So she just incessantly bugs her and follows her around and swats at her. And I just feel awful about it, but I need to, hey, you stay out of there. Hey, Soka. Oy. This is what, I feel like a parent. I've got a little small child running around, a little fuzzy small child that just gets into everything they can get into. I've got to keep half an eye on her, half an eye on what I'm doing. So that's what we did. We sat down, we had a conversation, we told some stories. It was lots of fun to reminisce. And I'm hoping that this is something that interests some people. It might not be interesting to you if you don't know who I'm talking about. It might just be a random story about a wedding, but I think there's a certain connection there. And then also just for people that couldn't be there with the restrictions, I know both Liam and Courtney had a lot of people they wanted to be there that couldn't. And I'm hoping that this maybe can serve as some sort of a bridge for those people that wanted to be there and couldn't. This is just kind of something I wanted to experiment with. I'm going to let you guys take a listen and see what you guys think of it. And maybe I'll be doing more of these in the future. I would love to offer this to anybody, right? Like that would just want to document some important part of their lives in this format. I just haven't seen people taking advantage of that. When I think that my suspicions is that that's going to be something in the future, and that's long form content is just going to be something that gets added into all these different mediums, into sports, into things like this. So this is just the next step to see where it can go. Other than that, if you guys could do me a favor, following the social media for the VonDubCast, following the YouTube page. Enough, dog. Enough. Come here. Sorry, guys. It's just a fight club out there. I'm going to have to pause this and go sort this out. One sec. I'll be right back. All right, sorry guys, I had to just go split up a fight club in the closet there. Ahsoka had her just pinned down in the back of the closet, trying to get her to play, being nice, wagging her tail, but just the poor little thing's just terrified in there. I feel awful. So now she's locked in this room with me, and she's laying down like a good girl, and she's getting some good foot pets, just so you guys know. I don't even know where I was going with that. All the follow stuff, right? The YouTube page. This is so tough because I know I talk all the time about these big things that are on the horizon, but I've actually made some big strides toward it. And there's a couple things that are coming up really fast that I want to talk about, but I can't quite talk about yet. I'm hoping maybe next week or the week after I'll be able to talk about them, but it's huge. I'm trying to be cryptic in a way that might let some people know kind of the direction that this news is going, but it's just something that I've talked about on the podcast a lot. It's one of my biggest goals to do with this podcast, and it's coming quite soon, and I cannot wait to see it happen and to watch it unfold. And I'm very uncertain of how it's going to go, but that's what's exciting. That's what's terrifying. I'm really scared about what's upcoming, but I'm really excited for it. And I can't wait to just start talking to you guys and making myself accountable of talking about what I want to do with this change and where I want to take it, so that I'm accountable to not just myself, but to all you guys that listen to it. And I kind of put my word out there. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to let you guys know, but just know that there's big things coming down the pipe. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you do, please let me know. If you want to reach out to Courtney and Liam and let them know, what made you think of them, that's great too. All those things. So yeah, hope you guys have a great week. And I know I've been on vacation and all this, and this is not my typical podcast, but I'm supposed to have 2 or 3 recorded this week, and we should be back to at least the once a week regular podcast episodes, and then hopefully I'll get jammed up again with tons of episodes, and we can start releasing 2 as well. And then so I'll see you guys on that one, and have a great week. I will talk to you guys in the outro. All right. So thank you guys for being here. I'm not sure what this is going to end up being. If we end up releasing this, just keeping this for ourselves. But what I wanted to do as kind of a wedding gift to you guys was just document everything leading up to the wedding, the stories that we had, and just kind of get it all down somewhere before it floats away. And we're only remembering just one story every now and again. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this. We're excited.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I guess I just want to start off by asking you, a couple weeks removed, how are you guys feeling now? Because there was just so much to go through and so much emotion on that day. And then you guys kind of got split up because Liam had to go back from medical school, and then you guys were apart for a bit, but now you've had a little bit of time to see each other and probably decompress. How do you guys feel right now?
I feel fine, but I think I had to go straight back into it. Mm-hmm. So I felt fine, and I was more preoccupied with catching up with school. So I think that I just went into overdrive in terms of that. So I didn't even allow myself to think about it too much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then I think the couple of days after the wedding, we had extra stuff going on. Like some people hung around, so like that was good. So I think that lessened the blow. So I'm feeling pretty good. And overall, I'm pretty relieved that everything worked out. It was awesome. Couldn't ask for better. And then it's done.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that have gotten married recently that will definitely feel with what you guys just said there. That weird combination of just loving everything about it, but also being glad that it's over at the same time.
Yeah, I feel just still very tired. I feel like my social battery still is like in the best way. Mm-hmm, we had so much fun, and I didn't feel tired of hanging out with people at any point when we had everybody around. Right. With like the day after, and then the day after the day after, and everybody sort of slowly filtered out. And I think that did help with it not feeling like we went from 100 to 0. Yeah. But then after everybody left and everything was quiet, then I realized how bone tired I was. And I felt like anybody who wasn't somebody who I was super close with, I just was so tired and just didn't have the energy to do any superficial socializing.
Yeah. And I think just to expand on that for people that might not know you as well, because that makes a lot of sense to me, but just knowing you, Courtney, of how much stuff like that of, being the center of attention is not really your thing, you being a bother to anybody or having anything like come up, and not that you guys were a bother, but just the whole thing of everybody coming in for you is a lot of pressure on you. And I saw that, and I was thinking that's kind of why I wanted to start off that question, because I know what that took out of you, and not just those couple of days of what we went through to make it all come together, but the years and the cancellations and stuff. And that's kind of where I wanted to start way before the wedding. And I kind of wanted to see, if you guys are willing, if I could maybe steal the proposal story before we get into even that. And I know that's kind of putting you on the spot right at the start, Lee. I'm sorry. But I just thought that was so beautiful. And I feel like the story of the wedding isn't complete without everything that came in. And I think once you tell that story, we can kind of talk about why that is.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty amazing. No, full credit. The proposal was a group effort, the parents helped out, your mom helped out, Kelsey helped out, only select people, because those of you who know me, I suck at keeping secrets. So I had to keep it on a very tight leash, only told certain people. So I think it was only Dana and Danielle, yeah. So only a very select people knew. Mm-hmm. And I also knew I wanted to get my parents here for it.
Right. And your parents are in Australia, just for people that listen that might not have picked it up from the accent.
Yeah. So I knew I wanted my parents to come. So I had to organize that, right? So there was the one thing with the ring. Second problem was getting the parents there. Third problem was finding out what to do. And then kind of getting it all off without Courtney knowing.
Mm-hmm. And she's a little snoopy too. She likes to.
I don't actively. Well, I pick up on. Like,
it's the sure. Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Yeah. So Courtney loves surprises, but is really good at just, I don't know, reading people. And I am really bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
It's a bad combination.
Yeah, it was a bad combination.
So if anything, I might just outsource the rest of the surprises for our whole relationship, because that's the only way that I can keep stuff secret. So in the end, I was trying a few different venues out, different choices. I was even asking the nurses that I knew you would never run into, and I had like I knew they wouldn't tell anyone that mattered. So like I was asking them all that stuff, and then I kind of landed on the idea for the what's it called? Yeah, the planetarium place. I was originally looking to do it at the botanical gardens, like in that the pyramid Utah. Yeah. But that was closed. So I was like, okay, right. So then this plan came up with the planetarium, with that show, and writing it up in the sky or whatever about it. But I knew you didn't want to be. I knew you didn't want to be proposed to in public.
That was the one thing I said. I was like, whatever you do, I just don't want it to be in public.
But then I was like, this is the best idea for sure. And number two, I was like, that helps me keep it a secret, because that's the last thing she would suspect.
Right.
And then it's like things collided that science center was having a Marvel exhibit where they had like all these props from the movies and all these things set up. So that's what I led with. So I got Kelsey to go grab tickets for that. And book and like tell the people whatever, like what's happening. And I'd emailed them a couple times. And so that got it all set up. So then we went to that science place. I forget what it's called.
Can I tell a little bit like of
well, hang on. Well, okay. What's that? I know. I think I'm getting to it. Okay. So anyway, I brought her there on the pretense that we're going to that Marvel exhibit. And then after the exhibit went into the show, right?
Yeah.
Now, leading up to this, Courtney is working. Is this what you're going to tell me? Yeah. So Courtney's working, and she mentions to me that she's treating someone at the science center. And I'm like thinking, oh my freaking God, this is like a week out. And of course, what's likely chit chat, someone's going to get married this weekend and they're going to have a really cool proposal. So I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like it's either going to get ruined or it's going to be fine. So that was the biggest stressor, I think. But yeah, so like we went around this whole Marvel exhibit for about an hour and a half or something like that, which was awesome. But I remember carrying my jacket with the ring and stuff inside. And we go into this science center. So if you can imagine, it's like a planetarium. You all lie down in seats and everyone's in this big oval and you're looking up in the sky, and they had some light shows going on. So that went on for like 30 minutes. And I remember like I was so nervous. My hands were clammy, and like I never felt like that before. I was like, oh my God, she's going to know I'm lying. Like if she goes, like, something is going to go wrong. But that was awesome that they finished that show. And then right at the end, they were like, oh, one of the audience members has one last thing to say. And then they wrote up in the sky, like, Courtney, will you marry me? Like in between the stars or whatever. Yeah. And then they obviously put the light on. And then what I had arranged is I had Chelsea, one of Courtney's friends who's a photographer, sneak in during the show to take pictures of it. Yeah. And then after that, they let us like dance amongst the stars as everyone kind of left and played a song for us.
Oh, so beautiful. And while all that's happening, your parents had already flown in and you were keeping that secret.
So like the plan was, and so like Liam totally played it very cool the whole day. He'd mentioned he'd been a little bit panicked when I said that we had a party on like the night of this day. Because Danielle and Devin were having a Canadian tuxedo party. And Liam's like, you said we didn't have any plans on that weekend. And I was like, I know, because they just asked us about this party. So I like had like some suspicions, but then we were going to this Marvel thing, and then we were planning our outfits for this party.
So this led me to obviously have to confide in Danielle, saying,
Right.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Cut the shit, Danielle. I got her booked.
Please say that we're going to be late or something like that to Courtney.
And it was so funny because she said something about like, oh, you guys like come around like 8:30 or something. And I was like, oh, usually we get the early invite. Like,
I remember being like, oh, it's fine. They're probably busy or something. Or like making up these weird excuses that I knew just weren't going to help. You know, and like my heart is dying. And she's like, oh, this is like normally like we get there early, like 4 people. Oh, God.
But then, so obviously this happens, and I thought that it was just awesome because like I was kind of stunned because like I was like, I remember like getting ready, and I saw in his Snapchat that Kelsey had said good luck, but I was like, he knows I don't want this done in public. And he dressed in like very casual clothes, and so I was like, oh, he would dress up if something was happening. So I was really not expecting this, but then all of a sudden this is happening in public, and like my mind blacks out a little bit. But then they really like did an amazing job of like ushering everybody out, and then they put the stars up in the sky and they played our song. Or one of the songs anyways. So it actually turned into a really intimate moment. And then we leave the Science Center, and we're walking with Chelsea. And Chelsea's like, oh, like I thought you might have saw me. Like when I was walking, she's like, I passed you guys, and everything went out. And then it was the first big snow of the year.
Right. So what time of year is this too?
November. It's either November 19th or November 22nd. But it was like that first big snow where like traffic isn't going. And it's
so late, the first snow, and then COVID hit. So that was like the COVID winter, but this is before that. This is November, like 2019. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So like, it's just like everybody in the city is quiet. Like it was just like, and I don't know if we left later than most people out of the Science Center, but like nobody was around, and it was just so quiet. And I remember it was really cold, but it was just like those big, beautiful snowflakes. And it was like the city was just silent for us.
Yeah.
And then Liam's like, okay, we're not actually going to the party. Danielle knows, but we're going to go meet your parents for dinner. So let's go and change.
Because I knew that like, if we got engaged, that you would want to, you know, spend it with your parents, and you
not go to a party where,
and I knew you would worry, and I thought it was sweet as well that you would always want both sides of the families to kind of find out together. That was it. So.
Yeah. So then we go to the melting pot, and we sit down with mom and dad, and they're congratulating us, and we're trying. And I was like, okay, let's call your parents. And so I'm on the phone with them, and they keep cutting out. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I can't hear anything. And I'm feeling
stupid awful. Australian service.
Yeah, like
even Dad says it. Dad's
and I was like, okay, we'll try and call you when we get home and we've got Wi-Fi. Maybe that's the issue. And so we put our phone down, and we're looking at the menus.
And I purposely was like, yeah, like this kind of sucks. Like it's great, like having us here. We're gonna have a great time, but it kind of sucks that we're missing. Someone else, right? I kind of hinted at that, just a little bit of yeah.
And then how did your dad do it?
So what was happening? So I forgot to mention this before, but my parents flew in. That was a Friday night, and they flew in on the Wednesday night, and they were literally staying down White Ave. They were a block away from where we were living.
Yeah.
So on Thursday night, I just told Dana that, because she was one of the people that knew I knew about me proposing. I said, I need to do some stuff like to get things organized. Can you just take Courtney somewhere? So they went shopping, and I actually went down White Ave and had dinner with my parents. And they were telling you about it. Like I was checking my phone every 2 seconds for a text message from your mum saying, we're coming home, whatever like that, so I could run back. Like nothing was the wiser. So they were actually behind the restaurant we're at, so behind the melting pot, at a bubble tea place, having a good time. And they'd be there for a while, and then after that call, they started walking around. Yeah. So we're ordering. Do you want to tell us a bit? Well,
I can't remember what your dad said. He said something really funny.
So we're ordering the food, right? So you can imagine it was like Courtney and myself, side by side, and your parents were opposite us in like a booth.
And yeah,
and we're ordering food and that, and then as we're doing this, right, my dad pokes his head into the booth and says, "Is this a private party, or can anyone come in and join?" And I remember, like, you were sitting next to me, I looked at your parents. I remember, like, your mom's just like, what? Like, they took a second to like to realize like what was going on, and then your dad was just like, what? Like, oh man, that was I wish we filmed that.
That was something you guys should have got on video, but still the memories will stay with you guys for a long time. And it's such a good story. Sometimes I feel like stories get diminished if they are on video, because sometimes just the way you tell it is so much better. And when you can get all that emotion into it too, it's fun to have things videoed, but it's good to have that mix. So I think, and just to jump ahead a little bit, the wedding was documented so beautifully that it's nice to have, like, because you're going to have really well documented pieces of the story and some more left to the imagination, to the storytelling. And everyone in our family is all good storytellers, both sides. So I don't think there'll be any issues there. Yeah. So then you guys had an amazing proposal. We're getting everything set up. You guys had kind of picked a date for the following summer.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
And we were really, well, I don't know how much Liam really put his head into this. Like 2020 seemed like it was going to be an amazing year. Like we had his younger brother's wedding, Jess's wedding. Is there another wedding?
Our wedding.
Like it was just like, it just seemed like a beautiful year. Like we'd never not know when we were like, how many years we'd be married, because it was an even number.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know, like 9 months seems like a short time to plan a wedding. But we decided on it because 2020 seemed like a pivotal year.
You're kind of right.
Yeah. And I remember talking to my bosses who had both been married, and Ari was just like planning his wedding in December, end of December. Right. And they both said, like, no matter what, the first couple of weeks of your planning are going to be really intense. And then nothing happens for a couple months. And then the last 6 weeks are going to suck. It doesn't matter if you've got 2 years. It doesn't matter if you've got 3 months. That's what it's going to be. And they said, like, just do it when you want to do it. Don't feel like you've got to give yourself more time, because like you'll be fine no matter what. So then we ended up deciding on that next summer.
That's some A-class advice right there. I've never heard that. That rings a lot of bells. That sounds like great advice. Was
the experience.
So then, I mean, well, your guys' experience is a little bit different because COVID threw a wrench into that, and you guys were hoping that it would work. Everything was so up in the air. The information was so piss poor. We couldn't figure anything out. And eventually you guys had to call it. And I remember that was around the time, I think, of when I was starting the podcast, is when you guys were having to make that decision. It was, I think, Courtney, you were the first person I told about the podcast, because I think it was the weekend that you decided that you were going to call it, and you were very upset. And I just said, well, here's something that'll cheer you up. Right. And I just told you before I told anybody. It was just kind of dovetailing with that. But we don't need to spend too much time on that. That was tough, and you guys were strong through it, and kind of, jumps forward to, you guys had picked just the same time of year, just the year after you were getting there, and kind of thought, what could be that different in a year from now that wouldn't be different here. And then the next thing we get to is Liam's big news. And I don't know if you want to take that, Liam, from there, of just kind of just trying to tell the whole story of kind of how it all comes together.
Oh, about Med?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, so avid listeners will know that the second or third episode, I think it was, of the VonDubCast. Go back and listen, a little plug bit, where I talked about doing the MCAT and everything. So this has been at least 2.5 to even 3 years in the making of, and second round going in so 2 years of applying, right? A lot of things kind of came together, and we were tossing up a lot of different options of like what we wanted to do. And then I don't know, like it just all came together. Like when was that?
It was late. It was like end of early June.
Early June, yeah.
Yeah. So like even if you said start of June, that's still only 2 months till the wedding, even right? Like so. And that was such a big game changer, because you guys had so many big plans, but so much of it hinged on med school and where med school would be, because you're applying to different places, and it was just so much in the air. And we're all so happy to hear that. But then that was just one more wrench that got thrown into, okay, now we have to make this wedding happen. I'm going to be in the middle of med school. And same thing with a wedding. I mean, I think you could probably make that wedding description about the start and the finish is the same as med school too. It's probably the right at the start of med school is the craziest time is going to be you're over your head on just trying to wrap your head around what this thing is. And you have to do that while all the responsibilities. I know you planned 9% of the wedding. Courtney just sat around the whole time. I know you're very busy, Liam. So
yes, yeah, I am.
It's tough.
I do everything in this relationship, obviously.
Yeah. We all know that. We all know that. So then I don't know if there's any, I wanted kind of where I was going to jump ahead to was kind of the week leading up to the wedding, but I'm just wondering, is there anything from that? Is any big instances that we should cover? Any big stumbling blocks or exciting things about decisions being made in between kind of that little area of finding out about med school and the ramp up of that last 6 weeks, like you guys talked about?
I would say the ramp, I would even extend it. So the last 6 weeks ramp up was more about making sure I could be there.
Right.
That was a big thing. We had to sort out for med school. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another one that was maybe like the last 3 months was basically with COVID restrictions, knowing that no international people could make it. So none of my side, Australian side, could make it. Right. So those were probably the two biggest things. And then leading up to it 6 weeks, of course, COVID was just like going up and down, up and down. Things were changing all the time.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to cross your fingers for the end of it. But those were the two biggest things.
Yeah.
And then you were dealing with a whole lot, obviously.
Yeah. No, I would say like, and then like we had to shift a couple vendors at the last second just with COVID. Some people weren't able to do things. So we had to scramble to find a few people last second when it was just getting closer to. So that was just something that we had to figure out. And luckily we figured it out quite quickly and we got amazing people, even if we had missed the people that we originally had hoped to work with.
Right. Right.
And I think that for me, it was really hard because like in May, we were coming up closer and the COVID numbers were coming up and the restrictions were coming down. And I was feeling really conflicted about wanting to make sure that Liam's family, even if they couldn't be there, could be included. But I was also feeling really worried about like the uninvitation process.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking like, we think that we really just, with Liam's family not being able to be there, we wanted to make it a more intimate event. And we also didn't want to be doing the uninvitation, re-invitation, uninvitation, re-invitation.
Right.
So it was a really hard thing for me to uninvite people who I'd always imagined being there.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if anybody will ever know like how hard that was. And it was the right call because literally the week before the Central Okanagan, their restrictions came back in where it had to be under 50 and we had 47. And so like we would have been okay. But then like the midnight on the day of our wedding, the restrictions came to Penticton.
Yeah.
So like we were like, in the end, it was the right call to keep it to a small number, but it was so hard at the time, especially when 3 weeks later, everything completely opened up. And so I felt awful again about unnecessarily.
And what I was just going to say, like, I feel like this is completely normal for any bride, is that the frequency of crying definitely escalated to a point where it was every day. Like it wasn't
every day, but it was a couple times a week.
But sometimes it's 4 times a day. So I hear what Liam's saying. Probably felt like it. Oh man, no, that was, and I mean, we'll probably get to this point of the story, but we're a family of criers at the best of times. So you just add in a couple more wrenches and where the waterworks are flowing. But again, that's exactly why I wanted to start with the proposal, because I think the story would be remiss if we didn't highlight that aspect of just how beautiful everything was, but how that tinge of sadness of knowing that your family couldn't be there, and just how amazing it was, the foresight for you to make sure that your family was there for the proposal, and just how beautiful that was, right? Because if we hadn't done that, it'd be even more of a hole of, I mean, there's still so many people you haven't seen too, but at least, you know, your parents, the two core, the pillars, you got that time with them. And I just thought that was beautiful to start with that, because we really tried our best to highlight that and make it feel like they were there throughout the wedding. I'm sure people will hear that's going to be a common theme, and you can never do that perfectly, but you just take your best swing at it and try and do it. And I think we had some amazing times that we'll get into. So then in terms of heading out to the Okanagan, when did you guys head out there? Like, how, say the wedding's on the Friday, you guys went out like the previous Friday or week ahead, or when?
Yeah. So I was lucky. I've got the best team at work ever, but I asked them because Liam had a half day of school on the Friday,
Right.
the week before. And I was like, well, would anybody be willing to trade me a morning for an afternoon shift? Because normally I work the evening. I was like, we're trying to get out to Penticton. And one of my bosses is like, I'll just take the day. Like, I know how stressful this can get.
Yeah.
So we loaded up the car with all of our stuff.
Not just your car.
Huh?
I said, not just your car, parents'
like
truck. And
yeah.
You just had a lot of shit.
Oh, totally. But in like, at the same time, like, I'm so happy with how much stuff like we reused and recycled from other weddings. Like it was, like the wedding industry is not a sustainable thing.
Not at all.
We did a really good job about like not buying very few things were brand new. We reused a lot of things. And I collected them over the course of 2 years. So in the end, we did have to like load up everybody's vehicle basically. But so we drove down to Calgary that night. Liam did his schooling from Calgary, and then we drove the rest of the way that Friday.
That Friday. So then
Courtney was there for the week before and the week after the wedding.
Yeah.
And then so I drove us there, and then I had to go home after that weekend.
Yeah, on Tuesday you're supposed to go home, or Monday?
Monday. And he was supposed to fly, but then the fires were so bad.
Yeah, the smoke
was so terrible that his flight just got flat out canceled. So we basically had breakfast and then sent him on his way back with the car. Yeah. But I find like there's just a couple things that happened the week before we left that are kind of funny. Yeah. And like we just had like the craziest luck. And I've said that to lots of people over the last couple of days as they've gone back to work. I'm like, the key to having the perfect wedding day is to have a really chaotic
wedding week.
One of the things that happened was our cousin Katrina had helped me design the perfect signs. Like they were beautiful. They're everything that I wanted. And they were very, maybe not unique in what they said, but like she helped me find the font. Like we did down to everything. And she's like, I've dealt with printers before. Sometimes it's really easy for things to get messed up. So I'm going to give you the exact specifications. And you have to she gave me like perfect instructions to tell them. And then we're like, okay, so there's 3 signs, like the seating sign, the welcome sign, and the unplug ceremony sign that will be poster size. And so she's like, 48 by 36, I think. And I was like, sounds about right. I trust you. And so then I get these printed from Staples, and they're like, they quoted me way less. And I was like, why are these signs so expensive? And then like they bring this thing around and it's almost as tall as me. And I'm like, this protective coating. And they're like, yeah, it's got bubble wrap on it so that it doesn't get wrecked. And I was like, okay. And then I bring it home and I show Liam, and it's literally almost as tall as me. I was like, oh my God, these signs are like Alice in Wonderland. But I was like, you know what? Kind of funny. Like we're going to a garden. It'll be kind of like fairy tale-esque. Not the biggest deal. And then Morris calls me with their tie rentals, and they're like, your ties are in. And so I go into Morris to pick them up. And like we'd been so pumped because this rental was like unbelievably.
It was the one thing that went well. When we put in the order, it was super cheap. It was like, I don't know, $50 for all the ties.
And we could have them for like a week and a half.
Yeah. Great color. And the service, like the guy we dealt with was like, awesome. Just was like, okay, this guy knows what's up. Like this is happening. Yeah.
So then I go in there and I'm like, I was called that an order is in. I'd like to pick it up. And she brings these ties, like they are hanging up, and she's like, oh, are these them? And I was like, looking at them, and I was like, I think so, because they're way darker than I remember. And I was like, what drugs was I on when I ordered these? Like, these don't match our theme. And she puts them down in front of me. I'm like, these are kind of orange, but like, she's got my ticket. And she's like, yep, this is like, these are yours. And then I'm counting them, and we'd had like 5 ties and 1 bow tie. And I realized there's not a bow tie in there. And I was like, I believe we had a bow tie. Do you mind just checking this order? And so she like pulls it up on the computer, and I was like, and actually, like, do you mind bringing the color wheel down again with the ties? Because I really don't recognize this color.
Yeah.
And then when she brings it out, like, I can see like, this is nowhere near the color we had chosen. We'd chosen like a light blush pink. And these ones, especially when you put it beside the pink, are definitely orange.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, they discontinued that as unavailable. Somebody should have contacted you. And I was like, well, they definitely didn't.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, And so she calls her manager because she wasn't really sure what to do. And the manager's like, well, take these ties and like, we'll try and see if we can like trick head office into giving you the right ties. And I was like, but the lady said they're not available. And she's like, well, we can try it. And I was like, I was like, these ties really aren't going to work. They're just like too far off.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, we'll try to order these other ones. And I'll just keep the ties to this guy. So I actually have to go and fix this now that I'm back. But so I walk out of there and I was like, that was like the strangest, most like not helpful experience. Cause the guy's like, you can take these ties and I'll give you them for half. And I was like, well, $25 doesn't really help.
Yeah. Doesn't help me with, I have orange ties. I don't want to marry a pumpkin.
Exactly. And so luckily one of my bridesmaids, Danielle, she was in Vancouver and she had a Moors kind of by her family's home. And so she went in and she basically like, what other colors would you be interested in? And she basically got them to like rush order the blood, like it wasn't the same color, it was lighter. But she rush ordered like the correct amount and a closer color.
Right.
And so in the end, like that all worked out, but it was just hilarious. Like we've got these like crazy huge signs, like these weird color ties. And so we're like, okay, we just got to get out to Penticton and it's going to be smooth sailing. And then we get out there and then it's so smoky.
Like smokier than we've ever seen in 27 years, right? Like that was when I came in on Sunday and saw it and we couldn't see across the lake and we couldn't see them out. I was like, I have never seen it nearly this smoky. And we've seen some smoke in the years. Yeah.
Yeah. And the weather report said that there was 70% chance of rain on the rehearsal day, our wedding day, and the day after. And I had been following a couple wedding planners in the Okanagan, and they're literally like, the only time that we get nervous is when like there's greater than 60% chance of rain and usually 3 days in a row. And so I was like, okay, got to wrap my head around smoke and rain. And like, it is just going to be what it's going to be. And then Liam's flight gets
canceled or delayed, I guess, at first. Yeah.
Or yeah, no, you're right. It was canceled. And so I was like, okay. And I kept being like through the week, like that, like we've used up our allotment of bad luck and nothing crazy happened. It was just, it all felt bigger at the time than it actually was. But we just had such a fun week. I know you weren't there, but like Georgia came in from London, which was incredible. She got her vaccine literally 2 weeks from her flight date. Yeah. So she didn't have to quarantine. Like that was incredible luck. I haven't seen Georgia in 2 years. And she's one of my co-maid of honor. So that was incredible. And then on Wednesday, we're supposed to go pick him up from the airport. And so we're like, okay, me, Georgia, and Katrina, my other maid of honor, we're going to go to Kelowna. We're going to go pick up the mix for the wedding.
Right.
We're going to get a spray tan. And then we're going to pick up Liam from the airport at 7:30. Right. So we're on our way and we're having a great drive. We're chatting, but all of a sudden we're like, this drive is taking forever. The traffic in Kelowna was just next level. So by the time we got to to Costco, there was only like 20 minutes before our spray tans. And George is like, let's just get in and get out. And I was like, George, like with the restrictions, the way that they are, like you can see them, people are lining up outside of Costco. I was like, there's no way we get in, we get what we need, and we get through the line in time for a spray tans. And so she's like, okay, you're right. So then we go to the spray tan place on the other side of Kelowna. And then we realized that Kat's driving her brand new car. She had got it like a week and a day before.
White interior.
And Georgia had worn had brought like long sleeve pajamas. So she was okay. But Kat and I were in short sleeves and shorts. And so we went to a gas station and we bought paper towel. And we literally like paper toweled her whole car, trying to like keep her upholstery safe. Right. And then we go into the spray tan. The lady was lovely. She was excellent. And she was very like, when she found out it was for a wedding, she was very, very specific, which was really excellent. And then as I'm like drying with my spray tan, Mom calls me and she's like, the reservation for the rehearsal dinner got bumped up an hour. And I was like,
oh, right. Cause we were, yeah, I could tell the other half of that story. So while you guys were off in Kelowna, we went out for dinner to practice our speeches and make a plan for like getting everything for, we had 3 different things we needed to plan for. We needed to plan the rehearsal stuff to make sure that all went off. And then, so we had the rehearsal, then we had the rehearsal dinner, which was at a winery up the road. And we had to plan the wedding the next day. And then we had this Oktoberfest thing that just our family is putting on with just some of the people from the wedding, and just a little bit of a party after it with a little bit less stress of the wedding, just kind of easier food, everyone just playing some games kind of thing. And we're there and we're trying to plan things. And that was when mom realized that the times on the rehearsal dinner was off and she called you. So we're sitting there listening to this call, all three worried about you and how you're going to take it. Oh, it was awful.
My God.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, like on the phone, like with my, like, just in like this really like awkward, like marionette position, because I'm trying not to like, number one, start sweating.
Yeah.
But like number two, trying like to allow this tan to set, because I really didn't want it to like, I just wanted to look my best on the day.
Yeah.
So, and mom had taken over for the rehearsal dinner, which I really appreciated. And mom always tries to do things to like the most beautiful.
Yeah.
But I had always said, I was like, I would be happy at the campground with hot dogs and hamburgers. Like,
Right.
That's my happy place. But mom was like, no, we're going to do it at a winery. We're going to have a beautiful German dinner. And like, can you move because like normally the rehearsal is at 4 for Linden Gardens. But she's like, can you move it later? Because we're going to do the dinner at 6. And so we don't want to have an awkward pause between. So
Right.
I had arranged the original rehearsal to be a little bit later. And then everybody had planned their plans to get into Penticton for the bridal party around that. And so I was like, okay, so I've got to talk to the wedding planner and I've got to talk to the whole bridal party to make sure that like they can get in. And then I was like, you know what? And if they don't make the rehearsal, it's just walking down a straight line at the end of the day. Like like, we'll be okay. So then as we're going to Costco, we're sitting on these paper towels and I'm making all of these texts and calls, and Lucy, our wedding planner, was absolutely invaluable, would absolutely recommend anybody in the Okanagan working with the Dream Big team or anybody just in general getting married. Having a wedding planner was the best decision and the best money we spent the entire time.
Especially if the other half isn't really involved.
Which I think is often the case.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like we, and I'm texting everybody, and we have the most incredible bridal party group. And so like everybody was.
And groomsmen.
Yeah. Well, I guess like bridal party.
I know. I'm just bugging you.
But everybody's like, yeah, like, and I told everybody, like, if it doesn't work out, like, if you come in late, like, we'll just figure it out. Don't worry about it. But everybody was so great. And so then we get to Costco, and I'm like, I've got all these paper towels stuck to me. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like, can you imagine if that was on your seats to Kat?
Right.
And then Kat's like, if there's sweatsuits in there, I'm buying a sweatsuits. Like, this is just stupid. Because I was literally like perched on the seat, trying so hard not to like rub on anything. And so we go through Costco, and Georgia looks hilarious. She's in her PJs with like sunglasses and a hat on. She looks like a celebrity. And we get everything from Costco, and then we pass these Adidas tracksuits.
Nice.
And Kat's like, perfect. We're getting Adidas tracksuits. And then Georgia's like, of course, Georgia needed one too. So then we get all of our stuff. We go to the bathroom and we're changing into these tracksuits. And then Liam texts me and he's like, my flight's being delayed by an hour. And so I was like, okay, girls, like, let's go for dinner. Liam's flight's being delayed an hour. And we were kind of running behind schedule. So like, sure, that's fine. And then like, as we're waiting to get into Joey's in Kelowna, Liam texts me again. He's like, it's being delayed another like half hour. And so like, thank God for Georgia and Kat, because they kept me laughing this whole night. But like, we literally didn't end up picking him up until 10:30 when he was supposed to come in at 7:30. And so we were literally at the end of the, like, waiting for Liam. We're in the Kelowna airport parking lot, and they're literally just finding the funniest stuff they can on YouTube. And we're all like, just like so tired laughing at like all this stuff. And like trying not to think about Liam having to potentially drive through the night to get there. But luckily the plane finally went through. And I was like, okay, all of this crazy luck has come to like, at least we got the groom here. So we pick Liam up, and then Liam's like, yeah, I'm kind of hungry. So we go to Tim Hortons.
Because it was like 11 o'clock at night. Hadn't eaten.
And he's got like, just has like the most terrible Tim Hortons experience, like rock hard bun. He ordered a honey cruller when he thought it was a sour cream glaze. And he's like, what is this?
Yeah, it was terrible.
And so like, we just like, but again, we're laughing. We get to Penticton, we drop off Georgia, and then we get to the campsite, and there's this person who's driving so slow down this road, like slower than they have to. And then they just literally stop right in front of our campsite. And so we're so ready to get home. And Katrina's like, we have to do one more loop. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And she was like just like going off on these people. But we finally did her one more loop. We unloaded all of our mix. And then like, we had the groom, we had the mix, we had everything that we needed to get there. And then the next day was the day of the rehearsal. And again, it's super smoky. We go to pick up my first bridesmaid who's coming in. And she's supposed to get there at 10. So like we wake up, Liam and I go to the airport, and literally she's supposed to be there at 10:15. We get there at 10:15, and I get a text and it says, I don't know if this is going to go through, but they tried to land in Penticton. There's not good enough visibility. They're turning us around to Calgary. I'm like, here we go. It doesn't end.
And we had a bunch of people flying in that day.
Yeah.
A bunch of people from the bridal party, a bunch of like close family guests and all that. So if we're thinking if one flight gets canceled due to smoke, they're all going to get canceled kind of thing, or what's the new plan? Are we going to have to, we were making contingency plans to see if maybe they could get in Kelowna, trying to organize trips. We had people from the campsite that were going to drive into Kelowna and pick people up. If people could get into Vancouver, we had plans for people to drive out to Vancouver to pick people up. Like we were just pulling all the stops out. And this was just par for the course. This whole week was this of just a fire coming up and then everybody jumping on it to put it out as much as possible without stressing you guys out if we could. Right. And that's what I wanted to just highlight. When Gio and Terry got there, that was just such a morale boost for the whole crew. Cause we've just been, bombarded with shit from every single angle. And then you just get these reinforcements of just the most positive people and the most fun people to come in and just reinvigorate everyone and get everyone real excited again. So it was nice to have that. And then just with that amazing group we had, it was like we got that at each time. Like just throughout that week of all the shit, we were getting reinforcements and the cavalry was coming in. Oh, Gio's here. Oh, these people are here. These people are here. And you just have so many people at your beck and call to make things happen that it seemed like it was so unlikely that everything was going to go perfect. But it's like, if any group can make this go perfect, it's the group we're assembling slowly over this week. So that was kind of that morning of just that struggle of, is everyone going to make it here? That was the biggest stress of that day. I would say, hey.
Totally. And like, I guess like I would love to highlight just how amazing everybody was through the group through the week. Like there was some stuff that I had DIY'd and some stuff that I couldn't do until I got there. And like everybody every day showed up and they're like, what are we doing wedding wise today? How can we help? And like, even like little Savannah was helping with some of like the crafting and stuff. Like she's putting stickers on the cones, like literally everybody showed up for us every day, which was incredible. And especially as somebody who doesn't like to be the center of attention or to be putting people out, like I think we both felt more loved like over that week than like ever before, just in everybody come together and trying to make things go as smoothly for us as we could.
Yeah. And I think it's just one of those things where you guys know that everybody loves you that much, but you guys are so, you guys so little want to take advantage of that ever that you never get to truly feel it. You know it's there, but you never get to experience it. But take something like a wedding where you're forced into it, where you're going to be the center of attention. People aren't going to dote on you hand and foot, even though that's the one thing you hate the most in the world. It still feels nice to know that that's there and to prove that feeling that you always, you know that inherently that it's there, but just to have a proof in the pudding to show it to you, it feels good. Hey, yeah, no, that's awesome. So then the rehearsal ended up people, not the whole bridal party ended up getting there, but with significant others and stuff, we ended up making enough stand-ins to do it. We did the walk. It was very sad. Even the first, not sad, very happy. It's just emotional. Even doing the rehearsal was a bit emotional, but it was awesome. Allison showed up, who's your childhood friend who did the music, and she did such an amazing job. And just to get to hear her, the songs that are going to play I think if we didn't get that heads up of the songs that were going to be coming out for each walk and stuff, it would have been even harder, even though it was hard as it was. And to see Linden Gardens and how beautifully we set everything up and how easy it was to probably within, what did they tell us? We had to be there at 4 to start setting up, or 3 or whatever it was.
So the rehearsal was supposed to start. I told everybody, please be there at 4, but like we started unloading at 3:30 and most people showed up at 3:30. Helped us unload all of the trucks and stuff. And I'd done my best to, again, huge tip for anybody doing a wedding, label all of your boxes with exactly what's in it, because I was going through it with the wedding planner thinking that I hadn't done enough. And she's like, oh, wow. Usually like people just dump all their stuff. We open it, we go through it the night of, and then we do our best to make it look beautiful the next day. She's like, so we really appreciate this. But as somebody who has a hard time relinquishing control, I just wanted to make sure that like all the important pieces like were just set out so that there was no questions about it. And again, I would trust them 1,000 times over. They did even better than what I could have imagined. But literally like we unloaded everything. Everybody was awesome. And then we moved over to the ceremony area, and our wedding planner took us through the whole ceremony, how it would go. And we practiced, I think, twice through. Laura came speeding in after the first run through, so she was able to get in there. And then literally as we were all packing up to go to the rehearsal dinner just up the road, all the other girls made it. They all happened to get onto the same flight. And so Terry picked everybody up and got them, brought them to us. So we were able to even show the girls like, okay, we're not going to run through this a third time, but like, this is where we'll be. This is where you walk. This is where you go, kind of thing.
Right. Which is all you need. That's all the rehearsal ends up being. And I think we kind of almost, it's not overkill because it was handy, the experience it was, and especially for the emotional side of kind of getting to walk through it once or twice. But yeah, that's what I was telling you the whole time, because I knew you were worried. Like, what if some of the girls don't make it? But as long as you have some people there to kind of give direction, it's all just following the person in front of you and we'll figure it out. But what I was most impressed with is I'd never been to Linden Gardens for how long I've been in Culloden and going to Penticton. I've just never been up there, but it was so beautiful in that spot. And to get to see with the arch built, and it wasn't even chairs or anything there, but just to see that space of how beautiful of a spot you guys picked. And then to walk back to where the reception part was, it was just like, it was just going up. Then they're just putting the tent up, bringing everything out. But it's like, oh man, this is going to be beautiful. Right. And I feel like that was my first taste because I was so uninvolved with any of the planning. You think Liam wasn't involved. I had no idea. I didn't even know when. I was just told to show up and help and carry boxes. And that's what I did. But I think that was my first instinct on that. Or my first reaction was just, wow, this is going to be beautiful. Right. Like, sure, we've had some strings of bad luck and some things have gone wrong, but you know what, like, even if everything goes wrong, the beauty of this place is going to carry it through. Right. So that was kind of what I saw there. And then we all moved over to the winery. Like you said, Mom does it over the top, beautiful Rouladen dinner, everything, you know, the winery had great wine. Everyone was having fun. I think it was so fun for me, just like people like Allison and Danica, who I haven't seen him forever, Gio, who I haven't seen in 5 years, just to catch up with everybody and have a little bit of that quiet time before with these people that are obviously special to you guys. But it was nice for, I think, a lot of us too, to have that little bit of quiet time before to reconnect and find all those little interstitial things. I think, personally, for me, I was really happy about it because I had to MC and I didn't know the whole bridal party, groom's party. And I was very worried about introducing everybody. So it was nice to kind of just at least get a feel for the couple of people that I didn't know as well.
Did we do that? I was just thinking about, was that the night before we did the intros for the...
Yeah. We were literally washing dishes at the end of the night and we were...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I ended up...
You were really good. You like basically remembered it and just like went with it, right?
Yeah. Well, no, once you guys left that night, when I went out, so we had this amazing meal, and then we all went back to the campsite to change and grab our stuff and bring you guys to the hotel where a bunch of the bridal party was staying. Just before that, I kind of quizzed you guys on who everybody was in the bridal party. Some of them I've known my whole life, like Jess and Gio and all them, but some I didn't know, just to get kind of a little description down. But then once I dropped you guys off, I went back and I was so nervous about it that I rewrote the whole thing and just made sure I had like a big blurb to say about everyone in case I completely froze up. I'd have at least something to read. And then I was just going to go in and just try and say something and just say whatever came to me in that moment. But, that scared me. All good. So yeah, so then we drove you guys back to the hotel, and I think everyone was there, maybe had a drink at the hotel bar. Did you guys end up going out?
Yeah, and so like I was really tired after
I can imagine
the whole day, and like the like holding the like I knew it was going to be fine, and like the most important thing was that Liam had made it the night before, and so obviously we would be missing the people who couldn't get there if they couldn't get there. But I would rather my friends be safe in Alberta than like risking driving through fires or whatever the case was to get them there. So I was just like constantly pivoting and just accepting that it's going to be what it's going to be. If it's meant to be, they'll make it.
Yeah.
And then so we have this beautiful dinner, and we're catching up, and like I've got friends who I haven't seen. Like I haven't seen Amber since I feel like, because I talk to like my friends generally at least every few months. Especially the ones in the bridal party, but like it was still so good to see like Amber and Laura and all of my friends in Georgia. Like it was just like a lot of good stuff. And I had tried my best to keep everything really organized, but I knew that like we couldn't go straight to the hotel from the rehearsal dinner because we hadn't been able to fit everything in the car. And I knew I wanted to see all the important stuff because I was getting ready at the Airbnb that Mom and Dad were at. I was like, I need to see that like all of like the box that had like my wedding ring and my shoes and all of my stuff make it to the like car that's going to the Airbnb.
Right.
And we need to pick up our stuff to go to the hotel. And then we got there and like everything was chaotic because like we basically like picked up and go. And so dad was like, can you please do the dishes? And so, and my friends are texting me and they're like, are you here yet? Are you here yet? And I was like, no, we're still getting our stuff from the campground and I'm getting more tired by the second. And so finally we get all of our stuff together. Amber, poor girl, was stuck with us because she needed a ride. So she just came and like sat while we cleaned the trailer. And Georgia was there too. Yeah. And so then we all go to the hotel. And I think George heads right up to the room where most people were. And then Amber checked in. Amber changed her hotel like on the drive to be at the hotel where everybody was at.
Yeah.
And so then we drop off our stuff and I was like, okay, like everybody's in this hotel room. Like, let's just go for a little bit. But like I said to Georgia and Amber, I was like, I want to be in bed by 10. And it was like 9.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we'll just go quick. But then we go to the hotel. Everybody's having drinks together. Like, like it was just so much fun. Like it's just been so long since we've all been in like the same room, and like at the rehearsal dinner, it was great, but it was just like a little bit more formal.
Yeah.
But
and like lots of parents around, you're still trying to figure things out. You haven't really let your hair down. There's so much stress around it. You can't really just revert to that. Cause I feel like when you get around those childhood friends, you almost want to revert back to a little bit more childish and just tell old stories and be a bit goofy. But when you have all the stress of a wedding to plan and all that, or things weighing on you, it's hard to do that. So I think probably that night you had a little bit of opportunity to do that. Hey.
Absolutely. And it was so good to walk into this room and I see like Georgia and Jess and Allison and Danica, who I've grown up with all together. And they're comfortably having a lot of fun with Erica and Brett, who are friends from university. And then Kelsey and Felix walk in and they're Liam's friends from the Royal Alex. And I think Amber was already there. Like, and all of these friends from different worlds are all coexisting so happily. Like we could have not shown up and they still would have had a fun night without it.
Yeah.
But it was so good. And Kelsey brought her Polaroid and they'd already started taking pictures, and Jess got up on the bed and did like a little speech. Like, and then like, we could have stayed in that hotel room. Like I would have ended up there until 1 a.m. Thank God we ended up going down to the bar because the bar was really hot, and the service, like, and they literally said, like, we were trying actively to discourage dancing. Like Jess, of course, is always the DJ, and she was asking them if they could change the music. And they're like, no, we're actually trying to make sure people don't dance because of COVID. And so, like, we basically just sat around, had a drink, and like I made my way around the table to make sure that I like spent a little bit of time with each person. And then they were being really slow with the bill. So I was like, I need to have a shower before I go to bed. Yeah. So like, I'll meet you at the hotel room. And so Liam stuck around to pay the bill, and then we went to bed, and we were in this unreal hotel room. Like, oh, it was just so nice. And it was nice. Like after I'd been sleeping on the floor in our parents' trailer for a week at that point. So it was so nice to just like have like air conditioning.
Oh, aircon was so good.
And I had like
a shower, a real shower, not a camp shower. Yeah,
exactly. And like I had wanted to spend a little bit of time in the room because I'd had like these little bags for each of the people in the like groom's party. And I wanted to make sure, again, I may have some control issues, but Liam's suit was there, and all of his detail pieces that the photographers had asked for, like, are where they need to be. He had his wedding ring there for the photos. So I like took pictures and I showed Brett and Kelsey, and I was like, this is where his detail box is for the photographer, and it has the wedding ring in it. It has to make it to the wedding.
Guess who they charged later on in that day with watching the wedding ring? Mr. Irresponsible here. I told him I had him a bus. I had that thing like a football. I was like just tucked under. I was not letting that thing go.
Oh gosh.
Well, the choice was you or Lincoln and Zachariah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Low bar.
And Everett. Oh yeah.
Oh, and Everett. Oh man, those kids were cute. So that's the night of the rehearsals. Then in the morning we split up, and maybe we'll just, until we get to the first look, we'll maybe tell it in 2 parts. Maybe me and Liam will start and tell our side of it. Then when we get to the bus, when we get there, we'll let you take over for your guys this morning. So I woke up, I was supposed to be over at the hotel meeting Liam and the groom's party at 8 a.m. So we get up, Alyssa drives me over. I've got my suit, my stress this morning was my MC book of everything I'd written down. I I didn't want to let her out of my sight because I didn't want to lose it, but I also didn't trust Alyssa to make sure she got it to the wedding. So I was like, just kept flip-flopping. Should I bring it? Should I leave it? And eventually I just left it with her. And I said, just make sure this is your life. Make sure this makes it to the wedding after, right? I need this to MC. So we roll up there, and Liam had texted me and said, it's the new building. I was like, the new building? Like, where is this place? And I'm sitting out of there in the parking lot looking around. I was like, I have no idea. And Liam pokes his head out. And first thing I noticed, looks like Liam got a haircut, because Danica came and did your hair that morning. And it looked like you actually got a full haircut because it's just how good it looked. I was like, whoa, man. So we head up to the room, and then I hadn't seen the room yet. This beautiful room. You had it so nicely set up with all of our groomsmen boxes with our suspenders and everything there. And then shortly after, I think Brett and Dev showed up. Kelsey was there, and Kelsey rolled in already fully done up. She was done to the nines, and I hadn't got to know Kelsey yet. That was my first time getting to know her. But I think about 20 minutes, 30 minutes in of she picked up on my shenanigans, and that I like to have fun and always make things jokes and always just go for it. And she is such that type of person that me and her were buddies the whole time. We were just having a fun, keeping it light. And so then everybody showed up. And then I think not long after that, Lori showed up with her first round of food. And she brought us all bagels and coffee and everything we could ever want. Was except for knives. Oh yeah, there's no knives to be found. So we're all ripping apart bagels and stuff, dipping it in cream cheese. Yeah. But you need a little bit of savagery in there. We had to keep it. It was a little bit too formal. We needed a bit of the manliness into it. And then oh man, no, that was so much fun. And then what else happened, Liam? What was going on that morning? I feel like there's so many funny things. I just don't know where to start.
Yeah. So we all rocked up, because the best thing about this wedding plan was that I didn't have to do anything in the morning. Like, I literally stay in the hotel room. Danica came, did my hair, which was awesome. And then the plan was just to stay here until the photographer came and left. And then we were all getting picked up. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be anywhere. Like, this is where I need to be. So it was
the only rule we had was none of us could get too drunk.
Yeah.
And they really held us to that rule. They were sending people to check on us by the hour. I was getting texts. They were very, very concerned. I don't know why that they were that concerned, but.
So we had, Laurie brought breakfast, which was awesome. We were kind of like, we're all like just going around, like having a bit of champagne, having some White Claws, and we're all like ironing our pants.
Oh yeah. And the ironing was quite the fun things, because there was a very big disparity between the people that knew how to iron and the people that did not know how to iron. And me and Liam were in the latter there. So we needed a little bit of help. Oh, that's funny.
And then I think Ingo got there like a little later.
Yeah. So then I think the photographers. Oh no, were the photographers there before Ingo or after?
Oh no. So Ingo got there, right? Ingo was there
right.
For about an hour, and if you can imagine a room, like, we're just staying out of our good clothes so we don't get them tarnished. So we're just running around doing whatever. And then Ingo comes, hangs out for a bit. And we're having some light drinking. And then about 15 minutes so before the photographers came, which was like 10 o'clock, I think it was meant to be, we all start getting into our suits and stuff. And Ingo opens up his suit bag and notices, oh shit, like, I don't have a white shirt.
He didn't have any shirt. He didn't even have a dress shirt. He just had his suit jacket and his pants. Didn't have underwear, didn't have nothing.
So he like quickly runs out to go find some place to buy it.
Yeah.
And then we got ready, and the photographers came over, and we were just having like photos, I guess, the whole time.
Okay, so a couple other things I remember. So when I first got there, I think before anyone had even gotten there, I said, Liam, I've been having these trailer showers. They're not really cutting it. Do you mind if I just borrow your shower quick? I'm going to have a shower, right? So I have a shower. Think nothing of it, right? It's just Liam there. I think maybe Kelsey arrived while I was in the shower, maybe Brett too. So having a couple more drinks, right? Some more people show up. Now the whole crew's there. We're having some food. And Dev says the same thing. You know what? I'm going to go have a shower. But what I didn't realize was the shower has this like frosted glass into the main room where we're all eating and stuff. So about partway through Dev's shower, we all realized that, Dev's naked just across the thing. And
so Kelsey, I'm sitting down and I'm looking at Kelsey, but Kelsey's looking at me, but also facing the frosted glass wall. And so like, we're thinking nothing of it. Kelsey's like, is that the shower being like the only lady in the room as Devin, like naked in the shower? You can see the outline.
Yeah.
And then do you remember what Devin did?
I can neither confirm or deny what Devin did. But it was funny and we all enjoyed it greatly. It was a lot of fun. And I think that was the worry, because Lori saw us when she first dropped off food and we were just kind of getting the fun started, right? It was a little bit tame at the start. Everyone's tired, but we're just having lots of fun. And I think she was attributing that to the liquor, but I think we were just having fun. Probably the liquor had a little bit to do with it, but I would say it was about 90% fun, 10% liquor. And she thought it was 90% liquor, 10% fun. So she came in the second time. This might be skipping a few steps she brought a Subway. Oh, this was after. So yes, the photographers came. They did an awesome job. They did the detail shots of Liam's stuff, which is very chaotic. They asked, well, where's all your stuff? I don't know. Courtney's got it there. They just took over, moved things around, moving tables. We just kind of all sat back and the photos came out amazing. Like for us idiots and how unhelpful we were for those poor photographers. I think it just turned out amazing, right? And we're all getting ready. Ingo shows up last minute. He ran to Hudson's Bay. He got a shirt. We all get dressed up and then we'd got told, food's coming. Take off all your dress stuff because we don't want to get it dirty. And you guys can eat. So Lori was very concerned about Brett being drunk and me eating the food. So what I took my t-shirt and put it over top of my clothes to eat the sandwich. And she was not happy with the solution, but it worked. Nobody spilled a drop. It all came out perfectly fine. Nobody got dirty. And then, Oh, and then just one more story that was just amazing. So one of my favorite shots was they did pictures with us all with a whiskey glass, right? And we had just a little nip of whiskey, just some beautiful spice box. It was perfectly. I was really trying not to drink that morning. I think I was going to say I had one White Claw, then some whiskey came out. And then when I was on the party bus, at one point I had 3 drinks in my hand. So I really had to tone my drinking down before the MC duties, because that was the whole reason. I was like, I can keep an eye on these guys because I know I can't get drunk. But we just stand up, get the whiskey glasses, and Liam shuffles his phone and the song Whiskey Glasses comes on by what's this pickle there, which was just
Morgan. Yeah. Crazy.
It was just wild of just how it went. And we're just taking these photos with these whiskey glasses, the song playing in the background. And the songs have been pretty hot. We were having some fun. It was a dance party. And I think at this point, I'd probably already told the groom's party that I was going to be the number one person on the dance floor about 12 times, not knowing who Kelsey was at this point. What kind of wrath I was incurring by saying this at that time. I had no idea. But like the dance party for like, you guys all hear about the dancing later on in this night, but the dancing started early there. And we were just dancing up, having a great time. All 4 of us, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5. Plus Ingo, 6. All 6 of us were just having a party. Ingo goes early. He leaves. I think right around the time we have our Subway, he takes off and we're supposed to be on the bus. I think he went to go take a look at you first, Courtney, see you on the stuff, have your moment, take some pictures. And we get told that there's going to be a party bus arriving at a certain time. And we all roll down. And I think when we saw it, the first thing all of us said was, I hope there's a stripper pole in there. And we open the door, we get to the back. We open the door, we look in the back. Sure enough, stripper pole. So we're on that as well. We got the tunes pumping. We figured out the volume and all that stuff. We had it just perfectly set up, and we hop on that bus and cruise over to you guys. And we get to the Airbnb, and maybe I'll let you take over at that point. Unless was there any other funny bus stories just before we met up with the girls, Liam? I'm trying to think. I'm sure there was.
I remember Devin knew absolutely every winery we passed.
That was impressive.
This one's this. This one's this. Oh, Jesus Christ, Devin.
You've been to a few of these, haven't you? Yeah. Oh, that was funny. I forgot about that. And good thing we had Devin too, because he was the one navigating with the driver too to make sure we made it to the Airbnb. Is a bit tough to find.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, it was hard to find.
Yeah,
but Devil was on top of it. He was the responsible adult of the day for us, for our side anyways, until we met up with you guys and you're all responsible. So then how did your morning start? Because I don't even think I've got to hear your side of it yet, Courtney, of how it all went on the maid of honor, maids people. Bridesmaids. That's what the bridesmaid side.
Yeah. So I was actually wondering if Liam would mention this. So I had been, that was the other thing. So two other things that just like were not going my way the week before the wedding was I couldn't get a hold of the hair and makeup people to confirm what time they had started.
Right.
We have 10 girls, hair and makeup, like with all of like my bridal party. I had 7 girls. Liam had a girl that like we wanted to gift her hair and makeup as well. And then mom and me. And so, and anybody who makes fun of me for having 7 bridesmaids, like, is missing out on having 7 best friends. Like, I can't imagine the day.
And it was such a good group of people too.
Oh, absolutely. But I was like, we have 10 people. The photographers and videographers have asked us to all be done hair and makeup by 11. Wait, yeah. By 11.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because yours was 10 to 10:45. And then 15 minutes to get over to us.
Yeah, because I think we were supposed to be on the bus for 11 or something.
Right. And then, like, when she did get back to me, she said that each girl needs 40 minutes between hair and makeup. But I was like, okay, do you mean 40 minutes hair, 40 minutes makeup, or both? Because, like, that's either a 5 a.m. start for some people or a 7 a.m. start. And so, like, still hadn't heard. So, and I felt so bad thinking about poor people having to, like, wedding days are long days anyways, and to get up at 5 a.m. And poor Kelsey, because, like, she had to be one of the first ones done to be able to get back to you guys. I was like, oh my God, Kelsey, I'm so sorry, but you might, like, this is supposed to be a gift, and I'm so sorry if this is going to, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, if you'd rather sleep in. She always does a beautiful job of her hair and makeup. This is supposed to be fun. And of course, everybody was so good, including Kelsey. They're like, we will be there whenever you want us. You just let us know. But finally, like 2 days before, she's like, oh, like, have 4 girls there at least at 7 and have everybody else show up by 9. And so I had, I was like, okay, it'll go mom and Kelsey first, and then Kat, Dan and Erica were planning on being there at 7. And so I was like, I'm going to try and sleep until 7:15. And then I will go with Georgia's mom was picking us up breakfast, but Safeway didn't open until 7.
Right.
So they were going to go to Safeway and then pick us up. But then Laura and Jess were going to take a cab at 7:30. So I was like, oh, I'll just cab. Like, then George and Terry can just go from Safeway to the Airbnb, and I'll just go with Laura and Jess. And so I'll try and get a little bit more sleep. So I usually do rely on drinks to stay up, but, like, I was just doing everything to, like, try to, like, naturally have a good day.
Yeah.
And so, but I was so anxious. I woke up with the sun, and it was a pretty bright room. And I look at my phone, and it's like 7:55. And sure enough, I have an email from hair and makeup, and they're like, we can't find the Airbnb. And I was like, well, it showed up in Google Maps. And so then I'm trying to call mom, and, like, it is like, so it turns out it is really hard to find, but, like, they basically had to send somebody down to the end of the lane to flag them down.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay. So then I meet up with Laura and Jess in the lobby, and I pass Danica. And Danica's like, yeah, I'm going to go do Liam's hair. So, like, perfect. Awesome. So then we get in the cab, me and Laura and Jess both have, like, boxes of, like, bus drinks and, like, drinks for the Airbnb and stuff. And so we all get in the Airbnb, and then, we all get in the cab, and then we can't find the Airbnb. And, like, we're close to where Google Maps says it should be, and then we can't find it. So eventually we do find it. And, like, the hair and makeup found it, like, they probably started just a couple minutes late,
right,
with all things considered. And I get there, and I think Kelsey's just finishing having hers done. And most of the girls are there, especially because Laura and Jess were there with me. And it was just so good to see, like, all of my girlfriends all there together. And they, like, I had asked mom to pick up white sheets because this Airbnb was beautiful, but it was just decorated quite
old school.
And so they had flashing, like,
floral
rooms.
Yeah.
So I just asked, like, let's just bring, like, a white duvet set, or, like, a white bed set for the sheets. I was like, I don't care if it just goes over it. It just, like, the picture's going to look really strange when, like, the curtain has a really loud pattern and then the bed has a really contrasting pattern.
Yeah.
And so, like, I show up, and, like, the girls are ironing the bed to make sure that it's not wrinkled.
No beds were ironed in our
room.
Not a single one.
Yeah. And Danielle and Jess are both new moms. Jess has a 2-month-old that she left, or I shouldn't say she left, like baby's dad was doing an awesome job being a dad for the 2 days that they weren't there. But that was the first time she's been away from her baby.
Yeah.
Well, his mom had come to Penticton to watch Kai. But, like, it's still, like, I told both of them, please bring your babies, like, would love nothing more than to have them there, but they wanted to be able to be present and enjoy being a bridesmaid. So those 2 girls are, like, doing all the mom things that they need to do. And everybody else is running around, and I had forgotten about tips. And so Kat and Erica are like writing out thank you cards to my vendors and like dealing out like tips into envelopes and stuff and completely taking that off my hands. And then the last thing that had to be done before I could like relax was we were doing these charcuterie cones that I had I'd come across the idea on Pinterest in the depths of COVID when I was like, I want people to be able to have a snack before dinner, but I don't want people to be having to like touch everything. And these cones are kind of cute. And so I had mentioned the night before to some of the girls that I was nervous about this getting done. And so literally everybody who wasn't getting their hair and makeup done or wasn't doing something else, like jumped to attention, and we all like got an assembly. Yeah, like with like charcuterie and cheese and meat, and we're getting all this stuff done. And then we realized quickly that like we can't build these cones and transport them as we had planned. Like it just won't work. We would certainly, like, if somebody's not holding the case, like they would just topple. So we're like changing plans, and thank God for Nini, and I think Uncle Derek, maybe Tunny helped. I think that was the plan, but I can't remember. Either way, like everybody did.
Everyone helped.
Everybody helped, but like we put them into like Ziploc bags and like casserole dishes, and then Nini took them over. And I think she and Uncle Derek and maybe Tunny actually all put them together so that they were done there. Beautiful. And then I can't remember where I was, but Tunny did us a huge favor, and she helped us set up like getting our greenery from Costco and picking up the flowers from Kelowna and then bringing them all to us. So she had to drop off the greenery, the decorations at the wedding venue. And then I had thought, like, literally the night before, I was like, oh shoot, we might need the bridal bouquets for pictures. I was like, I really don't, I think I mentioned it to Mom, but I was like, I don't want to make, like, Tunny's already like doing us such a huge favor by like bringing all the stuff. I don't want to make her like do 2 trips. But I literally came out of the bathroom at one point, and all of a sudden all these beautiful bouquets are on the table.
At the Airbnb when you guys are getting ready to do, yeah.
Whether like Mom had said something and like Tunny just completely came through, which was perfect because like it was awesome to be able to have all of these things there.
Typical Tunny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Our family was just awesome. Carrie was there and feeding us breakfast, and she was helping us with charcuterie, and she was like, like I think we ran out of champagne at one point, and so she like went out and got us whatever we needed, and she's trying to make sure everybody's eating. Like Carrie's like a second mom, so that was really special to have her there. And good for her too, because I think like Mom and I's stress reactions are different, and like we don't necessarily help each other in our stress.
That is a very well way to put it. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and so like it was really good to have
buffer
there, and not even a buffer, just like somebody who, like, when Mom was escalating, was able to be like, it's okay, and it didn't have to. And then Nini was there, and she helped like get everything. And I didn't see Tunny, but like Tunny pulled through the flowers and like completely read my mind about what we actually needed.
Yeah.
And so once like the charcuterie was done and it was gone because it was taking so much space, then Jess was like, what do you want to listen to? Like, are you ready to dance? Like, yeah, we're ready to dance.
Yeah.
Then like I had texted the videographer and photographer, and I was like, the Airbnb is really hard to find. Call me when you're close because you're going to need a little bit of guiding in. And I think I gave my phone to Amber because I had to go to the bathroom, and like Amber completely took care of it, got them in. And then they came in and they started setting up, and like I gave them my detail stuff. Oh, and I was worried because like we were like an hour out and I hadn't had my hair and makeup done, and we still had like 4 girls to get done. And so I was like, oh, there's no way it's going to be done by 11. But like our hair and makeup girls were unbelievable. They stepped it up into high gear, and we were working on the last 2 people, which was Kat and Georgia, as like hair, the videographer and photographer came in. And so as they did the detail shots, literally like once they were ready for all the girls, Kat and Georgia were done. So beautiful. So then like, so we're having fun, and like they're setting up, and like we're getting the music going. I'm feeling better because I don't have anything else that I have to do.
Right. You just got to show up at this point now.
Oh yeah. So when I'm getting my hair and makeup done, like I knew that I would have to get a hold of somebody to let the photographer and videographer up, because that new building, you can't even get in, let alone into the elevator without a swipe card.
Right.
And Liam never answers his phone, especially when he's having fun. So and I'm getting my hair done.
Little did you know, your dad was the least responsible person.
He's at Hudson's Bay at this point.
Yeah.
Literally. And so I'm like, hey, Dad, can you let the photographer and videographer in there in the parking lot? And he's like, actually, I'm in Hudson's Bay. Hey, and he's like, well, I'm just waiting to get in. And I was like, why? He's like, I forgot my shirt. And literally, like, he had been at the Airbnb and he'd gone to go get a couple things for us before he left.
Right.
And he gave Katrina his extra shirt because he was so prepared that he was worried about sweating, that he wanted Katrina to bring an extra shirt to the wedding so that if he sweated through it, he'd have a second shirt.
Right.
And completely forgetting to bring an actual initial shirt. And so I closed the phone and I think I called Dev. Did I call you?
I think you called me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I called one of you guys.
Yeah.
And then I'm just laughing and I'm like, you guys, my dad forgot a shirt. And Danielle's like, what do you know? And I was like, I just talked to him on the phone. And she's like, oh, Dev just told me, but he said not to tell you.
Yeah, we were just going to keep all of that stuff from you at that point.
Yeah. But then, so like, we all get into, well, we'd spent most of the morning in like these 90s that I'd gotten for the girls that had their initials on them. And then we're setting up for all of these bridesmaid photos. And so we take a couple like cute ones, like they've set us all up on the bed. And there's like way too many of us to fit on this tiny bed, but like we're making it work. And then Erica had bought a cheap champagne for photos, like to pop the champagne for the photos. Yeah. And so we pop the champagne and then the girls are like, drink out of the bottle. And so I drink it, but I like don't do this often. So I didn't realize like, you gotta be careful with the fizz. Yeah. So I drank it for, I don't know, they said like 10 seconds. I don't believe that, but it was like a decent swig. But then it started to fizz up and it fizzed into my face and it got into my eyes. And I like the hair had just left. And everybody was panicking, like going to get towels and stuff. And I was like, just like, hold on. I was like, is it running? Like, do we have to call them back? And they're like, no. And I was like, it's really burning my eyes. So I think it's going to tear for a little bit, but like, let's just wait. And like the videographer and the photographer, like you're handling this very well. And I was like, well, like if they're telling me it's not running, it's okay. I was like, we're just not going to like wipe it because like they use some pretty amazing products. Yeah. They know people are going to cry on weddings. So
take it on thick.
Yeah, exactly. So after like 5 minutes, like my eyes stopped watering and I looked in the mirror, like nothing had budged.
Beautiful.
The hair and makeup people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So cool. Amazing. So they're like, okay, now we want you to get into your dress. So these guys, like they talk me through these shots that they want to get of me spending like a moment with my dress before getting dressed. And then they leave me alone to get dressed. And then they're setting up the bridesmaids outside this door to do like the grand reveal. And all of a sudden, like the one guy looks at me and he goes, I think your nose is bleeding. And I've not had a nosebleed.
I was going to say, like knowing you never had nosebleeds.
When I was a kid, like I had a couple, like,
but I can't even remember the last time I saw you get a nosebleed.
Never. And so I touch my hand to my face. Sure enough, blood. And the guy's like, lean over, stand away from my hair. And I was like, oh my God. And like, they're like the girls are like throwing like paper towel through the door. And I was like, oh my God, like what are the chances? And just hilarious, like champagne in the eye, nosebleed, like, I was like just literally just laughing at this point. Cause I was like, of course, but like nothing got on the dress and it stopped pretty quick. I don't know if it was the smoke or what.
Stress.
Yeah. But then, so like, the girls have their first look, and they all look beautiful. I hadn't seen them all in their dresses. And I had basically just shown them a couple inspo pictures. And I was like, pick whatever dress you like. I'd prefer it to be long in some color between dusty rose to champagne. And if it has some shine or sparkle to it, that'd be perfect. And then I opened the door and all of my girls looked stunning and all of their dresses were perfectly together.
It was so surprising to hear that you just let them all like pick their own dresses, because it almost seemed like it was designed by like a designer to actually put all those dresses together to go, and not in any way, like it was just the aesthetic of it, of just like it was almost like the feeling that they all had the same. And I'm not a real fashionable guy. For me to really say that, to notice that kind of stuff was saying something. It was just like, when you told me you didn't plan, I was like, man, like you have some good friends, because they came through in the clutch here. It looked awesome. So good.
And I mean, like, there's so much to be said about like people being like, number one, if you're a bridesmaid, like, you know, you want to be there for your friend and you want to do a good job. So everybody, I think, like ran their dress by me. And I was like, do you feel good about it? Are you going to enjoy wearing it on the day? Like, that's my main concern. but like they all like
Can you
they all,
can you boogie down in it?
exactly. Like I just
Very
want you to
important.
know something that you're going to be happy in all day, because like that's the most important thing, is that everybody's like enjoying the day. And it worked out perfectly. So then we do like the first look with mom, and mom starts to cry, and I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, like, oh, like if you start crying, like might start crying. It's too early. We haven't even like got this started. And so like they do a couple shots with mom, and then dad had been like sequestered so that he didn't see me all dressed up. And then they're like, okay, like I was like, you guys tell dad like he's next. But then dad just starts walking into the room when the videographer and the photographer are not ready. And so he gets his first look and stuff and like gives me a hug. And then the guys are like, that was beautiful, but we're going to have to do that again and pretend it's for the first time because we missed it. And so there's this one picture and like, and it's,
he was just off, that day.
Yeah.
But it's because he was so nervous about people seeing him cry. That's why he was so off the whole time, and we could see it. And that's where that night before the rehearsal, when we went out to practice our speeches, and he couldn't get through a sentence of it. I'm making fun of him, saying, "Oh, you big baby," and all this. Let me read it. I get through like 3 words. I'm crying. The whole table's crying there. The waitresses don't know what's going on, but you could tell he was so concerned about. Which there's nothing wrong with crying, but just the way he's brought up, the way he doesn't like to show emotion. He was so worried about people seeing him lose his cool there. So I think that's exactly what he said. As soon as he forgot his shirt, that's what I told the boys. I just said, he is so worried about having to give this speech later and him crying in front of people that he is just out of sorts. It was so funny to watch. It was almost like, it was adorable. Like it was cute. I'm sure he'll hate that I call it that, but it was so cute to watch it. Right. Cause he just never, it takes so much to get him to that place, and just how he reacts. And like, he was just showing, it was almost the perfect way that dad could show his love and his emotional side. Like that's how he shows it. Right. Like it was so perfect the whole time. It was probably not as fun for him, but like you could tell. Oh, that's so funny. So so he walked out. So then you guys did the surprise, the reenactment of the first look, father or daughter.
Yeah. And then, so then from there, they're like, okay, Liam is in the bus. Like, and I think that like, I knew that you guys were there, and they were just trying to get like the last shots. Like they call them bridal portraits. And I don't know, I guess like I've always seen them, but like, it's just like, I was like, oh, this is awkward getting like my photo taken alone when like, this is about us being together. So I was like, oh, like we can rush through this. And they're like, no, you'll want these pictures one day. So, I was like, okay, but I think we're behind schedule. Like we'll make it work. And so then they're like, okay, grab one of your bridesmaids. She needs to help you with your dress. We're going to walk you down one of these rows of the vineyard. And then that's where you'll do your first look, and it'll just be you two.
Right.
And so then the rest of the bridal party, I think we're able to get together. So Amber helped me walk down the row, and then they walked Liam in backwards. And then I walked up to him.
Okay. I think it'd be good to mention that the smoke had actually cleared for this day.
Oh yeah. This is the main part of the whole story. Yeah.
Yeah. This day was like the best day we've had all week, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In terms of smoke. So that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the 70% chance of rain that was supposed to happen did not happen until like we were all done, all the partying of the night.
Yeah.
And it was just the perfect amount of overcast that like everybody was in dress. Well, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but I think most people were fairly comfortable in the temperature. It got a little hot at some points, but like mostly pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I was feeling pretty comfortable at that point once the dance started.
I was wearing a jacket though, so I was pretty hot.
yeah, that was clutch to only have the shirt and suspenders as the groomsman. That was really nice. I did not idolize you in that suit jacket. You and Engel. I was like, oh no, that looks spicy. But the nice part was we went from the AC bus. We all get off the bus when we get there because we thought, well, they told us to be there at the time. We get just shooed like we're, rats because we tried to walk in the door. No, get back on the bus. We all got sorry. So I think me and Kelsey went and ripped up the stripper pole in the bus for entertainment for about 20 minutes while we waited. But then once you guys went to go do the first look, they let the rest of the groomsmen into the house. So we were all hanging out there. So yeah, so that was amazing to just wake up that morning and know what kind of smoke we were up against. And just to already, I think all of us were kind of resigned to, it's going to be pretty smoky. Hopefully, everyone was just telling us it makes really nice pictures. But then to wake up and on the Skaha side, it was still a bit smokier. But then when I went over and got up to the top of that hotel room where we could see out over the Okanagan, we could see all the way down the lake, like just a tinge of smoke, but you could see everything. I was just so blown away of like, what are the odds that the day we need it, it clears up like this? Like it was just, especially with the luck we were having, it was just perfect. Perfect. Oh.
You've just reminded me of something, and I feel like it needs to be documented. But
yeah,
when we're in the hotel room, everyone gets there. Kelsey gets there finally, right? Yeah. And I go, Kelsey, like, have a look at this view, like, because we've got big windows. Yeah. So I open up the blinds. So I've got big windows, and you can see the mountains, right? So I open up, and I'm like, check out this view. And the first thing she says is like, you're right next to the carnival, because there was the carnival that was like down on the bottom floor, like with all the rides and stuff. And oh my God, the whole time she was talking about wanting to go get mini donuts and go on the ride. She's like, maybe after the wedding, we'll come back and go on the rides and stuff. And it just came to this joke where like, we thought we were going to lose Kelsey. We had lost Ingo. Like, we were falling apart.
Yeah. But if we lost Kelsey, we knew where to find her. It was either going to be at the mini donut stand or the bumper cars, because that's all she taught. Oh, and then we thought she's finally over the circus or the carnival there. And then she sees the jet skis out. And then she's all about the jet skis. Can we go ride jet skis? Like if it was up to her, the wedding pictures would have looked a lot different for the type of activities we would have got into. But I was all there for it. I was having tons of fun. Oh, that's awesome.
So for this first look, Court's obviously in the vineyards, and they're like ushering me through and telling me like what's going to happen. Like, you're literally going to walk backwards down here, and I want you to turn like this. And so anyway, I do that. I'm walking backwards into this vineyard, and it's super weird. Like I found that actually, I thought it was quite special because we were tossing back and forth between the first look or not. And the idea of the first look for us was to make sure we had time to party at the wedding. If we can get if we can preload all the photos, that means we don't have to take as many photos during the wedding, meaning we can actually engage with people. So I think that's
a hard call, because like traditionally, I don't think we would have. We wanted to have the like first look be walking down the aisle.
Yeah, and I was actually very surprised, because when I stood there and I could hear you, because you can hear like leaves and stuff, like as I could hear you stepping forward, I actually thought like, wow, it's probably even more special because it's just me and her. That makes sense. Like, and that I was so excited to turn around. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So pretty.
That was the first tier of the
first of many. Oh man, I was gonna say it because I think when we got there, I think when you guys came in and I saw Courtney, that was my first tears. I was, whew. And then I saw her with Ingo and Dan. I was just holding it back, and I knew I had a lot of tears to cry the rest of the day. So I was trying my damnedest not to. But I must say, I love that idea of doing that first look with just you guys. I know it kind of breaks tradition, but the tradition is special altogether. And so many people talked to me later that day. Man, I wish it was either, oh, I wish we would have done that, or oh, we're getting married, right? Because there's lots of people in both brackets that have already been married or were upcoming marriages. And they said like, oh, I'm doing that for sure. That was so much better and all that stuff. And I guess I'll wait for the moment to ask, but I'm curious when we get to the part where you walk down the aisle of still that moment and how you reflect after already doing the first look, because it was just as special like that. I don't think anything's going to make a walk down the aisle not special, right? It doesn't matter when the look is. That's not what it's about, right? And I think it almost takes that special moment and divides it into two really special moments that it doesn't take away anything. So I thought that was an awesome decision. I would recommend that to anybody, of just doing something like that. And then it's not all that stress of not. I feel like also that leaving the look till that moment adds a lot more stress to the day, and it allowed us to have a lot more fun, because then after that we did some more pictures inside, and then not just the groomsmen, but the whole bridal party plus Ingo piles onto that party bus, and we go to take pictures. And that was when the party started. For me anyways.
Absolutely. And like we get on the bus and everybody's cheering, and it's so nice because like our bridal party, like half of your groomsmen were the partners of some of my bridesmaids. So like it's just nice. Like I find that too, like obviously like as a bridesmaid or a groomsman, you're there for your friend. But like, I always find like I'm more comfortable with like partying when I have like my other half there. And it just like, it adds that like level of like relaxation, but also you're sharing this moment with like your favorite person as well. So it was just so nice that like, I didn't have to hide from like half of our best friends. And that like, we all got to be together, and that like there was no moments of like, for those two, or like missing their other half or that sort of thing. But then we get onto this bus, and Jess has always been the DJ our entire life.
I got shit for being hooked up to Bluetooth. I said, I turned it off. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Because she was having trouble hooking up and she was sure it was because it was my phone hooking up. I'm like, Jess, I promise you, my Bluetooth is turned off. I turned it off the second you said it. It's not my fault. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we had
God.
like a bit of issues, and like dad wasn't originally going to be on the bus, and neither was the photographer. And he was
really?
Yeah. And he's like, can I come with you guys? And I was like, absolutely. I'd love that. Like, I didn't want you to feel obligated, but like, that would be so fun. And they're like, do you know where we're going? And I was like, oh shit, I haven't been there since last summer. I was like, I think so. And dad's like, oh, it's really easy. And he pulls up Google Maps. He's like, you just do this, this, and this. And I was like, Dad, I don't like that. Like,
and he gives the worst directions of all time.
Yeah, he's really
doesn't
bad.
know left and right.
No. So I was like, can you lead us? And he's like, well, then mom doesn't have a truck and she's not ready to go. And then I was like, well, what if you just like come with us? And he's like, okay.
And his eyes light up because he hates missing a party. And that bus was a party, and you could tell he wanted to come. And it was so fun that he did too.
Totally. Yeah, no, it was awesome. So we all pile on this bus, and like Jess and Laura had provided all of the like road pops, and like we got music
chips and candy. There was sour or
chips.
Oh hell yeah, there was chips. Well, me and Kelsey were into chips. Chips appeared. Me and Kelsey had our own secret pack of what are those fuzzy peaches too? That I think were so super. We just kind of kept them wedged between us. We got up to lots of shenanigans that day. It was so much fun.
But yeah, everybody's dancing and like
retro tunes and
everybody's singing. And then we're trying to find this thing, and Dad leads us the wrong way. And I was like, Dad, I know that this way is not the way that I know how to get there. He's like, you can also get there from this way. So I'm like, okay, trusting you. We were already behind schedule, but like, okay. So then like we go, sure enough, we hit a dead end and it's wrong. And so they have to do this like 20-point turn. And people
this party bus on this dirt road. Yeah. It was exciting.
And so we finally get to the right point, and our wedding planner again, complete props to her. She'd pointed this out to us when we did our run through the summer before. She's like, do you guys have time to like go check out this spot? It's really beautiful. It's a little bit of an adventure to get there, but like, if you have time, I think like you'd really like it for photos. And it's this, Nick and I would be familiar with it because our dad used to like drive us on this old path that's right along the mountain, and it's not wide enough for 2 cars to make it, but we never met traffic.
Yeah, it's not designed to have vehicles on it. It's like a 4x trail. It's like a quad trail almost all the way from Khalid to OK Falls, and it's very beautiful up there. But yeah, no, definitely not designed for a party bus. That's for sure.
No. So we all walk up there, and so we got all these beautiful photos with the whole bridal party, and then we got like the bridal party to go back onto the bus in the AC, and then Lehman got a couple more pictures, and then
it's basically a lookout onto the lake.
Yeah. Looks out over Skaha Lake. You can see both ends. You can kind of see all the way to Penticton on the left and all the way out to, I don't know if you can see OK Falls on the right, but you can see almost the entire lake of Skaha, which we've grown up on for 27 years, right? Like we've been there every year. So it was beautiful the way it worked out. And the fact that the smoke cleared off that much, but not completely. So it wasn't just the sun glaring into the camera. You got just enough smoke to make the nice light for the photos that I heard so much about leading up to it. Everyone that said smoke, it's going to have good pictures, but enough that you could actually make those views work and make the views matter. The whole reason we were up there, it was awesome. Just how it all came together.
Yeah. And so then we get back onto the bus, and I'm like, okay. So we got half an hour before the wedding starts, and we're driving back, and the photographer and the videographer went forward to get like the photos before people sit down and like all of that sort of thing. And so we're in the bus, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I kind of have to pee. I don't really have to pee, but like, I don't know when the next opportunity is going to be. And I had issues with my dress fitting before, and it didn't end up getting fit quite right. So like there was quite a bit of gapping. And so the girls had pinned me into my dress to make the best of it. I was like, oh man, this is going to be a real pain in the butt to get like out of this. Cause like my dress was really like flexible, which is awesome. But when I was pinned into it, it was pinned to like what I was wearing underneath. And so I couldn't go to the bathroom unless I had at least one person helping me. And so like I hemmed and hawed about doing it. And everybody's like, just go. You don't want to be like having to pee during the ceremony. So like we run in, and like all my girls are like running interference because sure enough, some people were already there.
Yeah, sorry. So we had driven back to the wedding at this point. There was the bathroom in the building, but we're in the parking lot with the bus, and people were arriving and we didn't want anybody to see you. So we made a big wall across the distance from the bus to like the gate where you'd run into the building with all the groom's party and the bridesmaids, and got you in and out like a covert operation.
Yeah. And then like we go to the gazebo, and like Linden Gardens is just like, we can't say enough about it as a venue. Mm-hmm. Not only in like, it is like a third of any winery you'll look at in the Okanagan at
the price,
like at least. Mm-hmm. And it includes so much. And
it's so beautiful.
So beautiful. But basically like the bridal party hangs out in this gazebo before they go down the path to the ceremony area. And so they've got water for us, and like we were able to leave all of our bags, and then all of our little flower girls and our grooms, our ring bearers show up. And so it's all of our cousins' little babies who we love so much. And they're like, again, I told them, like, I sent their moms just like pictures of what the bridesmaids and the groomsmen were wearing. And I was like, whatever you find that kind of fits into this theme, like, will be perfect. And all of them looked so good, and they were so cool. They gave us all hugs, and they were excited.
Oh, and they're such good kids too, just like exactly what we needed in that moment of just like the pressure starting to mount of like the really emotional part of the day, but just to get that release of seeing those kids and just the lines that come out of those kids' mouths. I don't know if they just like the parents sit at home and just run lines with them all the time, but they're all so funny. Like, it's just like, where do you come up with this shit, you freaking kids? Like, they were just so awesome. And so, those little suspenders on the boys, I couldn't even get over it, how cute it was. Little Everett, like, I know. That's next level cute. I couldn't handle it. Anyway, sorry. So, and yeah, that gazebo was beautiful. Just our little, we probably had 10, 15 minutes of just kind of getting everyone together. Yeah. Letting the white claws on the bus wear off.
Yeah. And Kat, I'll never forget this, like her leaning down and her explaining to all the girls, to like Zara and Olivia and Savannah, how to do like the flower petals, and them all just being wrapped in like so
fixated,
so attentive.
A very important job, like like you tell us how to do it. And then all the boys just being little hams, and like Zachariah sitting on Liam's lap, and Lincoln sitting next to you, and Everett, like, because he's a little younger, being a little shy, he didn't want to like get too far from mom, but still being like so cute,
the cutest.
And all the little girls in their dresses, and like they were all very different, but they were like, it was perfect in how different they were. And they were all so cute and just ready to like to do the thing. Like they were ready to take this job that they've been tasked with very seriously. And then all of a sudden Lucy's like, your bus still hasn't shown up. Like the shuttle to get like your guests here hasn't shown up. And I'm like, of course it hasn't.
I don't even remember that. I think I was so nervous at that point. I wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah. And
I think we were chatting with Lincoln and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so I was like, and she's like, we've tried to call the driver. He's not answering. Do you know anybody who's on the bus who we could call? Cause she's like, some people just didn't get on the bus and stuff. And then like, so then a couple minutes later, she comes back and she's like, apparently they're here. We just didn't see the bus come through, and like nobody like pointed out.
Right.
So I think we started maybe a little bit late as well. But then all of a sudden she's like, okay, it's go time. So like,
it seemed like it was kind of just all of a sudden we're all sitting in the gazebo to, oh no, it's go time. Let's get lined up. Let's get ready to go.
Yeah. And I remember thinking like having that moment, Lori and Jason had both said to Liam and I, like, take time to pause in the day because it's going to go so fast to remember. And I remember thinking like, am I nervous? And I was like, I'm not nervous even a little bit about getting married. I was like, I'm a little nervous about everybody looking at me. Like, I was like, I have no nerves about like actually like doing the thing. And like, we're going along this path, and like, we can hear Allison's music. And I think that's when it started to feel real, like, oh my gosh, this is actually going to happen. Because like Allison's just so talented, and it was so beautiful.
So good.
But then Dad and I are chatting, and like all of a sudden everybody's gone, and Lucy's like, it's your turn. And you can see in our wedding video, there's like a minute gap between like the flower girls when they're done and us.
Yeah.
And a few people have commented on it. It's like, it's because Dad and I were like chatting, like, and like we were not paying attention at all.
Typical.
It's making me sweat.
Yeah. And what was so beautiful of, you already mentioned it, Jason, Lori telling you guys to take that moment a couple of times during the day. I heard them telling you guys that because they really were adamant about that. They told you multiple times. But the other parts was having Lori officiate the wedding was so beautiful, and she looked so beautiful. And just what I loved so much was seeing, having Allison on the music, having Lori on the officiating. It just felt so, I don't know, just so tailor made, or so it just felt so custom and just felt like so I feel like there's certain things about weddings that are just not tacky and not cheap. It's just the way you have to do a wedding, especially to make it work and to make it efficient and cost effective. But I found that just there was so many things that were just so far away from that. There was not an inch of tack. There was not an inch of cheese of that regular wedding stuff, which you can't fault people for because that's just how weddings are. It was just every turn. It was just so personable and so perfect for what you guys want, right? Or more what Courtney wants. Let's be real here. But but what Courtney wants is what Liam wants. So it all worked out fine. Right? Yeah. So just absolutely perfect. And this is where my tears are. I was which is so funny after like Lori giving me shit. She's like, you even did the ugly cry. I was like, Lori, have you met me? Like, obviously I'm going to ugly cry. Like, that's what I do. I cried like 600 times that day. And even once the wedding was done, even when we were partying, I would just think about things in the day and I'd tear up and I'd be going again. Right. Like, but it was so nice. Anyway, so we had done all the walks. So first was, Liam, I think was the first one out, or maybe you stayed down there. I don't know. I was the last one to walk. I was following Kelsey.
Yeah. Like, I was, we were pretty good because Dan and I were just chatting. So I think that made us a little bit better, right? And then I think when we parted ways, that's when it went downhill for her. And then it got progressively harder for me. You had a tough go. So then, everybody walks in the aisle, gives you a big hug, lines up on our spots on our cues, which we'd practiced. It all went perfectly. The little flower girls and ring bearers were so cute and just did such a good job. My favorite part was the two girls kind of out ahead, and Savannah was just kind of looking around, walking down and just enjoying the moment. You could tell, but she forgot about her flowers. And about partway down, she sees the other two girls throwing. So then she's, I have a whole basket. So she's just chucking flowers for the last half. It was so funny. I just loved it. Just how perfect it was. And then where I really lost it was when Courtney and Ingle came down the aisle. And that was just, hoo-wee. That is tough stuff. That is just, emotional. And I'm an emotional guy and mostly about happy things. That's where I cry. I don't cry at sad shit all that often. It's more about the happiness that really brings it out of me. And it was just such a happy moment to see. And then it was on, right? It was wedding time from there of the actual, the vows and everything. And I just thought Lori did such a good job. She spoke from the heart and did such just like every word she spoke had such power and was so beautiful. And again, custom is the wrong word, but just so personable to what you guys wanted it to be, right? She understood the feel that it wanted to be. And then it passed to you guys, and your guys' vows were so good. Both of you. Like I was kind of expecting, to Courtney, probably a little blown away by Liam. Let's be honest here, right? But I just thought they were just so well done, and that's so nerve-wracking. You guys did such a good job of delivering them too. It's one thing to write good vows, but then to be able to hold yourself in that moment with everything going on around you and to deliver them so well. I just thought you both did such a good job, and it was just sometimes the actual wedding part kind of hinges on that, and it's so tough to be in that moment and do a good job, but kind of the whole wedding of the flow of it really hinges on it. You guys both just knocked it out of the park. There was a dog barking at the very start, which I thought the whole time, Courtney loves dogs. Like, who cares? But maybe you weren't thinking that in the moment. Were you guys upset or even thinking? Do you even notice? I think we're both doing the same thing. I think we're both censoring on the dog so I was using the dog to stop crying, basically. Right. Like, just think about this dog just barking. Like,
yeah.
But then I was facing Courtney's group, right? Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
And then I lost it kind of when I started talking about being homesick. And then I looked at them and they were crying. I was like, oh God. Like, And then I was done from there as well. But
it's funny because like I did notice it, and like Lori made a comment and I was laughing because it was literally just like the absurdity, like of like all the things that we had gone through to get to this point.
Yeah.
Everything was so beautiful. I'd had champagne in the eye. I'd had a nosebleed. And the dog barking during our wedding. Like I was like, this is the way it's meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be our wedding if we didn't have something ridiculous happen in the middle of it. Because like this wasn't just like a one like quiet dog, a couple barks. It was like when you watch the video, it's like 10 minutes of like bark, 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 bark. Only when we started talking.
Yeah.
But I really think like I remember it very clearly, but I only remember what Lori said and looking at you and what you said to me. I don't remember like a lot of the sensory outside of it. Like I was watching the video and there's a bee that travels from you to me to the girls. And you can see it. I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah, I remember because I was on watch. I was waiting for it to land on Lima. I was going to karate chop it if I had to. Come in there flying from the back. And I was worried about the mic too. I had to hop in there a couple times, move the mic around, make sure you guys could see her. Everyone could hear you guys. Yeah. Oh, which was so funny because I was so not nervous all day for all this stuff, knowing that I had an MC and we did all this stuff. And then when you guys walked down the aisle and headed over towards the party area, I got nervous all of a sudden out of nowhere. I usually don't get nervous about that shit, but I was and just about the announcing of the bride's party, for whatever reason, I was just really nervous about that. So then I started to hyperventilate a little bit. What was nice, we did a couple pictures before dinner with those, and that was fun to get a little bit silly again and do just a couple photos. Everyone did a nice one and a silly one with you guys, and I just thought those the photographers were so great with putting up with our nonsense and how goofy we were with all our pictures and how long it took, and following the direction, half listening and listening to all the other chirps coming from the peanut gallery and stuff. They just did such a good job of not getting frustrated with us but keeping it on time and keeping things moving. I just I really enjoyed that. And then is there anything missing before dinner? We lost your phone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I should say before we move on is that I've had a lot of people actually say that, a lot of people don't know Laurie, right, from my side of the family. And they say, your officiant, was lovely and you could tell she's very heavily invested.
That's so funny. Yeah, she was having a tough time. She's getting mad at me. She's like, I said, don't look at me, or I can't look at you if you're crying. I'm like, you knew I was going to be crying. Don't look at me. I'm just sitting there. I'm doing my best. I can't worry about you too, Laurie. This is on you. I don't know why that's my fault.
Yeah.
No. And we have to give credit so much to Laurie. She literally
did an awesome job.
Talked about it literally a year before, because she'd been prepping. We went out for dinner right before COVID hit. In February, we went to El Cortez, me, Liam, Laurie, and Jason. And she had a book and she was writing down, she wanted to know our story. And she was taking it very seriously. And she asked, do you have any religious stuff, or are there any quotes or anything like that? And I was literally told her just that, the only thing that I really wanted included was just that we really do feel, even if we're not particularly religiously inclined, it seems like a lot of things had to go right for us to meet each other. And so it does seem like the universe kind of conspired to bring a Canadian and an Australian together. And she took that and made it absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And she was the first person who I thought of, because I knew that I didn't want your standard celebrant, just because the ones that I had seen, not every single one, but I'd say a solid 70% are quite hokey, quite cheesy. We've seen people not get their names right. And just making just corny stuff. And I as much as our stuff, our story is a cool story of how we met. We're not cheesy people. And so that really wasn't what we wanted. And Laurie did the absolute perfect job. And we definitely didn't want a stranger standing up there with us. Sorry. We wanted somebody who cared about us and who knew our story and who, we would love to see in our pictures.
Yeah. I think that was a big thing for me as well. It's I don't want to have anything superfluous in my wedding, there's not going to be any stuff I don't believe that in there. Nothing that doesn't represent me, I know Laurie, she's one of the first people that knew about me and that has always supported me.
Yeah.
And we know Allison, there's just everyone at that wedding had a place,
Yeah.
So that's what made it really special for myself, I know. And I know Courtney as well.
Totally.
Oh. Yeah, no, that was just awesome. And it was funny because of how nervous Laurie was leading up to it, right? She was so concerned about crying, and her family was just giving her shit. This is not about you. You cannot cry. You need to just be strong and go through it, which is such a hard thing to tell somebody. The hardest thing, don't cry, right? Come on, that's a involuntary thing. So yeah, it works out beautifully. The kiss, you guys walk down ahead of everybody. Then the bridal party rolls out. Since we had an uneven number, I got to take 2 women down the aisle with me. It was great, just like I like it. One on each arm is perfect. And then we get out to the reception area, and I'd seen it we had seen it kind of half set up before, but just to walk out there and to see how beautiful it was. They're waiting with champagne as we walk onto this. The tent is up. The bar is all set up on this side. There's lawn games off to the side, just some sparse tables, and the charcuterie cones are there. I didn't realize this at first. I didn't see those. I didn't know there was an option. So I'm already in panic mode and I'm nervous, and I see the DJ. So I'm going over there trying to talk to him, trying to figure out how the mic works, trying to figure out, Dana had a song ready for later. So, and she didn't, all she had was a video on her phone, and the DJ was awesome. Really nice guy. Like really was a lot of fun. So I'm kind of getting to know him, trying to figure all this stuff out. And I'm also trying to figure out how, well, Erica was trying it first, but could not figure out how to get this video to him to sing.
And mom's phone had 5% battery.
Yeah. So I ended up on that. So I have mom's phone plugged in at the DJ booth. We're trying to figure out a way. There's not enough service. There's no internet. Like I can't send it. I can't email it. I'm trying all these different things. So I ended up, and we're getting ready to start too. Like everyone's kind of filtering in, getting ready for the introduction of you guys and all that. And literally, I had the song, I had to hotspot my phone to his laptop and send it to the song like a second before we started, like the timing of it working out. Anyways, we introduce you guys. We tell everybody about supper, just kind of do the big thank you, acknowledge people that weren't there, send everybody for supper. At this point, what's that?
Bridal intros before dinner.
Right. Bridal intros before dinner. Oh yeah, it was too. Oh man. Yeah. So that's the part I was so nervous about. So I'm up there with this microphone. I'm introducing everybody, just kind of talking from the heart. I had things written for everybody, but I just kind of went off book at one point with the people that I knew, and I just kind of talked about it, introduced everybody, and then sent everybody out for dinner. I was told all week about this power I was going to have to tell which table can go first, but I was like, I don't want to do that. So then I go, you know what? So I said, everybody just let her buck, everyone go. DJ runs over. He said, not a good idea. You can't do that. You need to actually pick a table. I was like, well, shit. All right. Well, let's go in order 1 to 4, I guess. I got in trouble for that. Oopsie. My bad. And then, yeah, we had an awesome dinner. It was some chicken, some pork, some like kind of barbecue stuff. I don't even remember because I was so nervous at that point that I was not eating much of the food, but everybody else got to enjoy. And then we went into speeches. Or did I miss anything in there? Just supper, then rating speeches?
Well, I think like we had mentioned it before, but like this is like the only thing out of like, and again, like several things took a sideways turn, but I was so worried about Liam's family not feeling included. And the reception was terrible. So we had the sitting down immediately after the ceremony, cutting together a quick ceremony edit and sending it out. But I couldn't find my phone. And I remembered, like, I got my phone given to me on the path. And like, it was in the path. Like, so like after the wedding, we all went up to the reception area. You go along this path and then you're getting champagne. And so we didn't want to do like a traditional receiving thing, but we stayed there. And we hugged everybody. Again, we didn't have that many guests. So like we hugged everybody. We said, thank you to everybody, welcomed them into the party. And then they're like, okay, we got to take the bridal party and the family photos. So we have to go back down to the ceremony area.
Right.
And so I didn't have my bouquet because they had already taken the bouquets to put them on the tables. And so somebody went to get my bouquet, and then I get down to the ceremony area. Half the people are there. We're missing some people. So people are running back and forth to try and find people. And I remember, I don't know who, but somebody gave me a bouquet and I gave them my phone because I got my phone on the path from one of, like, not the main wedding planner, but I remember being like, I have nowhere to put this. Like, this is like really an inconvenient time to be given back responsibility of my phone. And then I couldn't find it. And I was like, you know what? I think Erica had a purse on. Maybe she put it in there. Erica didn't have it. And so literally, I think I saw like 8 people go. And like, I had gone back and forth. And again, bridal tip number like 5, if we're at it. Brides, pack yourself an energy drink, or if you take caffeine pills or whatever it is. I felt after those photos, like I could go to bed right then and I'd be happy. But I go up to the bar and like, I remember I had bought this one energy drink at the gas station and I just popped it in the alcohol box, not thinking anything of it, like just being like, you know what, if it makes it, it makes it. Maybe I'll need it.
Oh, really? You didn't plan?
Well, I just had this feeling, but I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't like think about what box it went in. I didn't tell anybody it was there. So up to the bartender, I was like, this is going to sound really strange, but did you come across a energy drink when you went through the boxes? She's like, I thought it was for you. I put it aside. Do you want it on ice or do you want it straight?
On the rocks.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, ice would be amazing. She's like, perfect. I'll put it behind and then you come back when you're ready for the next bit. And that energy drink gave me life. So highly suggest that. Whatever your pick me up is, whether it's coffee or whatever it is, definitely would suggest that. But then I see like 10 people have gone looking for my phone and it ended up being put underneath a Kleenex box at the ceremony. And so I wasn't there, but I'm assuming people were literally like crawling looking for it.
Yeah. Well, like, so we did one big scoop and we couldn't find it. And then I went back with Kat to the ceremony area. And I was like, okay, where have you looked? And we went through everything. And then the only place I pointed, and it was a shoe box. It was the tissue box. And as soon as I pointed to it, she's like, oh, it's totally under there. And it was underneath the tissue box.
Yeah.
Just so funny because I could see the look on your face and I knew something was wrong and I didn't know what it was. But at that moment I went up to you and I said, what's going on? Like, what's bugging you? You said, I can't find my phone. I said, we're getting close. Can I please tell the DJ just to announce it? Because somebody's got it. Someone's got your phone in your hand. And you were like, not a chance, right? Because that's you. You don't want to put anybody out. And I said, come on, Courtney, like, it won't be a big deal. Like, just let me do it. And it probably took 5 minutes of convincing, but I finally said, please, can I just go? And you said, finally relented, said yes. So I walk over to the DJ and I said, hey, can you just do can I have what I said is, can I have the mic? I want to make an announcement with the phone. He said, I'll do it. And I said, all right. So then he gets on and he says something like, I can't remember what he said. He's being funny. And he said something like, oh, the airhead bride lost her phone or something. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, Courtney's going to kill me. And I think I even said to you, I was like, you don't realize what you just did, but you just got me murdered right there. I was like, that's the exact thing you shouldn't have said because that's she didn't even, I had to fight for 5 minutes just to let me make this announcement, but he was such a nice guy. And I feel bad. I was just frustrated in the moment that I said, I was like, oh no. Cause I was like, just give me the mic, dude. I think the whole time I just wanted that mic because I just wanted to be emceeing and just have duties of the microphone at that point. I was like, oh no, like the one thing he can't say, but he was such a nice guy. I really enjoyed working with him and all that, but we ended up finding the phone, got you guys announced, did announcements to all the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, tried to say a little something about everybody, had an amazing dinner. Then once the dinner was done, we moved on to the acknowledgements of the people who can come. So that was a big piece. We said a nice thing about Liam's family and just tried to, hit all the main people, your parents, your grandparents, your best buds, family, that type of thing. And then it was supposed to go into the speeches. And I had this list of, the speeches, which I wasn't on there. And I just said, well, that just means I get to go wherever I want. So I started off myself and I had tried to write, I think I wrote like 2 or 3 different kind of speeches, just trying, but it didn't feel right. It just felt like it was something I'm going to have to just do in the moment. So I had a couple bullet points and I did my little speech, probably cried a bit, got it out of me. But the funnest part that I had was I knew I would have so much to talk about, but it just takes things to jog my memory. But what I loved was in between each speech, somebody would mention something that would spark another story or another little thing in my head. And then I'd just go off on that. And I had so much fun. And I just want to say thank you guys for making me the MC because I love that. You guys hate being the center of attention. I love being the center of attention. That was just my moment to have some fun and to say any jokes I wanted. So I did my speech and then I handed off to mom and dad, to Dana and Ingo. So then they were up next. And this is the thing. So we've known Ingo's been out of sorts for 4 days leading up to this speech because he knows how much he's going to struggle with it. And I had read the speech before. So the speech that comes out of his mouth is like maybe 10% of the speech he had planned and about 90% freeballing because he'd say like the hard stuff. He'd catch himself, he'd get emotional, and then he'd just some other adding note or he'd bring in another funny story and stuff. Then he'd go back into his speech for a bit, get maybe another couple words out of his actual speech, get emotional, spin off. So it worked perfectly for him, right? Like, but just so off book, it wasn't even. And he's
such a roast too, like
just chirping.
That's Christian roasting us, and then Dad roasted me.
Yeah, exactly. But I
wouldn't have wanted it any other way. But.
Exactly, but that's the thing. The speech he wrote was not roasty at all. It was beautiful and heartfelt and very nice. Right?
I'd love to see it.
Oh, I think you should. I think you should read the speech that he intended to give because that's the thing. Because when he
read it to you,
oh my God, you should. Because that's the thing. When we're sitting at the parrot trying to practice our speeches, he gets, I think he could get the 2 sentences, but the third sentence was tough, and I'm making fun. And then it was something about like the you come and run when you get home from Nipissing, and you'd see that little fountain on your head of your little hairstyle, and you'd come ripping around the corner. Just even saying it now, right? It's just so tough to get through. And it was just funny to know that that's what he was about to do. And the way he weaseled out of it by just chirping you and roasting you the whole time in between, like you could see the little pieces of his speech come in. And what was funniest too, was about halfway through, he realized like, oh, you could see it in his eye, which is so funny because he didn't say any of this, but knowing him so well, I could watch it happen in real time of him like being so worried and have so much anxiety about crying, but then realizing, well, if anytime I get emotional, I can just chirp or like bring this in. So then he kind of got into it and he's kind of laughing about it and having a good time. And you could tell he's like, oh, I was so worried about this. And I've outsmarted. I'm better in this game. Right. And then at the end, hands the mic to Dan and she goes, well, we're supposed to do that together, but like, oh, it was so funny. So then mom gives an amazing speech. Probably cried a little bit. I'm trying to forget. There's so many tears. I don't remember who cried when. And then I don't know if there's anything specific in those speeches that you guys wanted to address before I get to the song.
Did that come after there?
Yeah. So I know. So like once I give the mic to Ingo, what my thing was, I'm supposed to what was I? Oh no, I thought I had the problem. So I thought I had it figured out of the way because what we're missing was a dongle for it to play, right? We need to go from mom's phone to an aux cord plugged into his computer to be able to play this video. But for some reason, and I thought we had it figured out because we found the dongle. Somebody pulled one out. I think it was maybe Erica or one of the girls in your bridal party found one. So I thought we were safe. I'd given it to him. It was all set up and he was charging there, right? Because he said it was on 5% battery. So when I got them with the speech, when Ingo gave the phone or the microphone to mom, I ran over to the DJ to get this song queued up and to figure it out. And he's like, well, let's just test it. I can put my headphones on. He's like, it's not playing. I'm like, no. So that's when I hotspot my phone. While mom's giving her speech, I'm over there hotspotting my phone to send it to him and to download it. And literally it downloaded the second because I knew that she said, I'm going to give a toast and then I'm going to ask everybody up. So I hear the toast coming in and I see the bar just going. And it just finished. He said, good. And he just tested with his headphones. He's like, yeah, it works. So I ran back over with the mic. She's bringing she had the mic. She's bringing everybody up, hands me the mic and brings our whole family up to sing this. What was it? Under the Sea? Yeah. So Under the Sea by Little Mermaid, but with all the words changed to like little things about you guys. It was a story, like your guys' story, but set to the theme of that, and had our whole extended family come up and she had it out, printed out on sheets. And handed out to everybody. And we all sang the song to you guys. Nobody knowing the melody. Nobody knows they're in on it. And mom had tried to get me in on this weeks ago. And I said, nope, too cheesy. Can't do it. Like, I'm out. And she was, I don't think too happy about that. I think she wanted a little bit of help with it, but she did such a good job and it actually came together really well for like how I was so not sold on the idea. It came out really well. And I think she was proud of it. So that was great. And that was hilarious.
Oh, and if I had known beforehand, I would have put a hard kibosh on it. But
I think I looked at you, didn't I? I looked at you, I was like, did you know anything? I was like, yeah. And the boys was like, what the
That's the thing. Nobody but Dana knew. I knew because she was getting me to help her out, and Ingo probably knew, but like none of the extended family, like Chris and Kurt and the aunties and uncles, none of them knew what they were getting drug up into. She just said, all right, you guys are all coming up here. So funny.
Oh, and it was so special. And I read the lyrics like,
it was very well done.
It was so well done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was just not quite your style, but it was so funny because I knew it was so not your style, but it was so mom style. And so what she would want to offer to you that it didn't matter. Right. It was just fit in perfectly. So then we did, the song and then the next one. And this is the other thing. So the DJ, I was already made sure I had Liam, your parent speech and your best man's speech all loaded up and ready for him. And I did tell him like a million times of like the order it comes in. For some reason, he kept getting like, so then this one first. He kept saying, think it was the groom's first. I was like, no, it's parents, then this. So then I'm giving him signals of like when to start. Like I think I said something, just kind of threw to him, gave him the point. And then your parents have prepared just the bangerest of bangers of a speech. And so many people came up to me after and said, like, even Kale, he said, like, I was good the whole wedding. I didn't cry. As soon as Liam's parents came on, I lost it. I was like, I know, me too, man. It was tough. It was so nice though. And they just so much of kind of what we're talking about of how similar our families are. And I think it really got to shine through with their voice and just how funny your dad is. Both your parents are both hilarious, right? Like that was just so special. And it was, it was that happy, sad, right? It was just sad that they weren't there, but so happy to be able to hear them and have them be a part of it. It was just awesome. And they just rocked it start to finish. Any special pieces of the speech that stuck out to you guys that you want to make sure you document as your favorite parts?
Well, we called my parents the day after, I think, to have a chat about that. 2 days after, anyway, to have a chat about it, to let them know how everything went. And they were telling us about writing the speech because they initially sent it to us in an email,
Yeah, like
Right.
And we both like didn't even read it at all. We just sent them email back saying record it, you know?
no. I had said like I had asked them if they could record it, and they'd wanted to do video. And I think that like I just didn't do a very good job of like explaining like it can be a voice note, but it can't be a video.
A video, yeah.
And so we got it printed, and then I reached out to them again, and I was like, do you guys mind recording it, because our DJ says that they can do it. And your mom was like, oh, but we can't do video. So I think that was my bad.
Yeah.
So like 1 week out from the wedding, like a couple days before, like they'd gotten it done. But my favorite part was like at the very end.
Well, I was just okay. I was about to say that when they were telling us about making it, though, Dad was saying that like it took me like 10 minutes to do the email version, just like write a whole bunch, showed it to Jude, and was like, they both went through it, like, perfect, add this, done, boom. And then he said, then we went to record it.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, he said it took him and her multiple attempts because they both kept crying as they'll get through it, right?
Yeah.
And then apparently it was like one of the last takes that they're going through it. Dad was like looking at my mum going like, oh. But Dad I'm just sending you
guys a picture of this dog and how she's sleeping with her face up against the wall right now. You guys are going to love it. Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to distract you with cute puppies.
Dad was trying to keep mum like with a straight face.
Yeah.
But what I remember is one, how good the sound was, because it was like reverberating around the tent. So it was like they were everywhere, or like speaking from the heavens. Which
which I'm sure your dad would love.
Yeah. But I remember my mum's tone. I can tell she's on the verge of tears the whole time. That just got me.
Yeah.
And then someone else told me, I forget who, but someone told me that one of the servers who was like filling up their water had just tears like running down their face. And I was like, oh my God.
That was an emotional wedding.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I had two favorite parts. The like one favorite part that I said that I remember distinctly was like they say you don't get to pick your family, but if we could have, we would have picked the Von Walker-Bars.
You're gonna make me cry again here.
I know. And then I loved at the end when they said postscript, like that took us 10 times to record or whatever. But I guess like the other thing I didn't want to skip over, so like we talked lots about Dad's speech, but I really loved Mom's, because like where Dad was very roasty, Mom actually got back to like the heart of it. And so I think like Mom, like for my parents one, they did a good job of balancing. Like Dad got the roasty like funny bits, and then Mom definitely brought it home with like the emotional bit and like talking about how much like you mean to our family.
And I definitely think you're gonna have to read Ingo's full speech of what it was intended, because it definitely was way less roasty and way more heartfelt and way more. And he did say a bunch of like, not to say he didn't get it out, he just interspersed it between. But when you look at it all just sandwiched together, it's pretty impressive coming from him, the old robot. So it was beautiful for me to see. That was a fun week and a fun day just for me to watch from the outside, because I was never nervous for a second. I knew it was all going to come together. I have a lot of faith in these type of things. It just, giving it up, letting Jesus take the wheel type of thing. It's going to be what it's going to be, and we're going to have lots of fun. But it's so much fun just to watch everybody. And also, like I had mentioned to you, of just like mainly Laura, Amber, and Kelsey, of just getting to know those three, of just what a fun group they were. Because I knew everybody else quite well, but just to realize, because I'd heard so many stories from both of you guys of who these people were, but just to get to meet them myself and have that party, it was just so much fun. So much fun. So then, so Liam's parents did their speech. It was awesome. Like you said, it came through perfectly clear. It was like they were everywhere. It was just like coming in from the heavens. It was perfect. Then we threw to your best men, and they knocked it out of the park too. They did an awesome. I love that they recorded it together like your parents did.
Very good, yeah.
Any favorite moments from that one? Mine was just that with your brother there. I'd kind of, in my introduction to him as your best man, or one of your best men, I was just threw that little shot about, the stature thing. And then he comes in, a couple minutes later and says almost the exact same thing word for word, that I was like, yes, nailed it.
Yeah. That was, I knew that was coming, because that always what about,
And you did it in your speech for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, just everything was just hilarious. They brought up, so I really enjoyed this, and Kat really enjoyed this. It was kind of an inside joke, I guess, is on Courtney's bachelorette night, I had a games night at home, right? Just online computer games with that Courtney surprised me with everyone, right?
Yeah,
including Mitch, James, and everyone. And Tom. But anyway, so we're going on, and that would have gone for me from like 4:00 in the afternoon. No, when did you start?
I think it was like 6.
Anyway, 6 or something like that. But it was 2:00 in the morning by the time Kat and Courtney came home. And Kat was sleeping in the room where my computer is.
Right.
So they come in saying, it's time for bed, let's go. But I'm playing with the guys. And of course, I'm drunk. And they also be day drinking. So they started early in the morning, like 7:00 in the morning. And it was probably like early afternoon now. So they've been drinking a lot, right? And then, as you can imagine, we're all enjoying ourselves. And then Kat wants to go to bed. So I'm like, okay, I have to go, guys. But here's Kat. She wants to talk to you for a bit, so I'll put the headphones on, and of course, they just abuse her, like
as they should.
Funnily and stuff, I think. But it was hilarious. And then the first thing she said is like, after she took it off, she's like, "They were so mean."
That's so funny.
Mitch was talking about how he loved chatting to Kat or whatever on that time, and then James just came in like. Was just speaking fire about like how I was supposed to marry him. Like we were married.
Yeah.
My first husband.
Courtney stealing you away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect, eh?
It was just awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, no, it was great. And then I don't remember who went first because then Kat and Gio both did a speech, and I can't remember, was it Gio then Kat or Kat and then Gio?
Ooh. Kat and Gio, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then Kat comes up, Katrina, our cousin, Courtney's idol since she's been 2 feet tall, just her partner in crime. She comes up and just does this amazing speech, like long and heartfelt, and told, some great stories, and really almost set the theme, almost like, you know what I mean? Like I almost was thinking like maybe Kat should have went first because she just so beautifully described like who you guys both are, where I feel like everyone else did a really good job of in their speech kind of saying who you guys were to them almost through that lens. But I feel like Kat's was just very good at just really summing up who you guys are at the core of just like really getting all sides of you guys. And I just thought it was so well done. And so I mean, if anybody knows Katrina, they'll know that's exactly what was about to come. Right? I think we're all prepared for it, but maybe some of the guests that didn't know Katrina didn't know what they were in for that type of speech. But it was awesome. Any highlights from Cats that really got you guys that you want to make sure that you don't forget about?
I actually think about it. I've actually thought about it a couple of times, actually.
Yeah.
Just like the thing goes to a good speech or a motivational speech, I should say, is maybe Kat should go into politics. I don't know. But like my mind with Kat is like, Courtney is good. I remember that.
It was like a debate speech, eh?
Yeah. And then at the end, she's like, Liam is good. Like I just remember all the stories revolving around those words were just like, oh.
Yeah, that was amazing how she did that. Like that's what felt like. It's like, oh no, this is how you do a speech. This is a planned speech that has themes and like it brings it back and has like callbacks, and was just so Katrina, which is so awesome that you had one, because the rest of everybody doing it was more of a shoot from the hip kind of thing, a little bit more less prepared, I think. And you need one speech like that to really drive it home. I don't know if that's who that person's supposed to be. Maybe it's the best man. Maybe it is the what's it called? The maid of honor, right? Who Kat was co-maid of honor. So that is the perfect slot. And she just knocked out of the park. That was awesome. And then Gio.
I was really surprised with Gio's like,
oh yeah,
holy cow.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Yeah, I was like a poem. Oh yeah, this would be nice, right? But as it went on, I was like, oh shit. Like
yeah, it had a bit of that Seuss feel. Yeah, no, it was Yeah, it was awesome. And again, so well prepared and so meaningful and so emotional, right? Like, I almost wish for this we could just like edit in the video of like all these speeches so people could watch them, right?
Pictures, like the pictures of like what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah. We have all these ideas. We can do whatever we want with it eventually. But so then, so Gio went. Anything, any particulars other than the amazing rhyme scheme and dropping Harry Potter bars on us in the middle of the speech was just like, that was my favorite part. I was like, man, if I thought anybody would drop some bars about Harry Potter, I thought it'd be me, not Gio, but hey, perfect. As long as somebody does it, covers that base.
I remember like particularly, like I was very like, I think it was hitting me during the maid of honor speeches because they were towards the end.
Yeah.
I was just looking out at this like small group of people, and like, especially like when Kat was talking about like us being good and how like she didn't have any bad stories to tell, or like things like that. Traditionally, like the bride gets a little like you got to tell like embarrassing stories about something stupid that they've done.
Yeah.
But like, especially when, when everybody, but like, I think it hit me with the maid of honor speeches, particularly, is just feeling like, so blessed sounds like seems like a word that like gets overused these days. But just like being so honored that these people who are so special to us think so highly of us and are willing to say all of these words. Yeah. And it was all coming to me like when Georgia and Kat were saying all of these incredible things, and it almost felt like undeserving of having like this incredible group of people who have been so good to us all day are here for us. It felt very surreal. You know, like that's what I remember most about both of their speeches, was just feeling like, I can't believe how lucky we are that we have these people who are so good to us in our life.
Yeah. And that was, that was something. I think I even mentioned that kind of throughout my little interstitial tiny speeches in between throwing the other speeches of just like, it was so amazing to sit there and watch what kind of group you guys assembled. And I just was talking about how it speaks to who you guys are, to have just such a special group, top to bottom, right? Everybody that was there was just so much fun and so caring, and just matched all those things that you guys highly value, right? Like it was just, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So then, sorry, what were you saying?
I can't remember when this fit in though, but there was a time when I was coming back. Courtney wasn't there either. I was coming back to sit down. I can't remember exactly where, but I was coming back to sit down, and then everyone told me, "Oh, go get your wife." And
right. So this was before speeches. This is when I'd done all the introductions. We had had the dinner, and then I was just told everybody, we're going to start speeches in about 10 minutes, go to the washroom and stuff. So you guys went to go use the washroom and stuff, and then everybody was coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I'm like ahead of Courtney. I go to sit down, and everyone's like, "Oh, go get your wife and sit down together."
You have to walk in together. I
was like, just like kind of roll my eyes. It's like, okay, guys, you weirdos. So I went back and got her, and I told Courtney, I was like, "Oh, they want us to sit down together." So I go and we sit down together. I make sure Courtney sits down first, and I sit down, pull my chair and everything, and then before I know it, I feel like someone grabbed my ankles like really hard. And I'm surprised I didn't react more so. Yeah. But I was just like, whoa! And it was Amber underneath who had hit the table, and it scared me. And this man. Like, oh my God, like as soon as I realized someone was under there, I knew who it was. Because like all the time.
Yeah, it's her favorite thing.
Oh God. And she's got me over the years. So like there'll be times where I'm helping them, like back when they were in physio, in like the basement of the U of A or whatever, I'd be coming around the corners and she would hide behind a corner. I don't know this building. And then she would get me like that. Yeah. And oh my God. Or even just coming in from work in my condo and I don't even know she's there. She's just like, bah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's so funny. Cause I didn't know any of the backstory of it. Cause I went to the washroom first, or no, I was just trying to see him. I did go to the washroom. I came back, but I got there before you guys. So they said, Amber's under the table. She's going to scare them. Make sure that so that's why I watched them and said, "Oh, you got to walk in together." Right. Cause they just said, make sure they come in together. But then I'm thinking, Courtney hates getting scared. Like that is like one of her number one things she does not like. Oh man, I'm struggling with this mic. So I'm like really worried. So I'm really glad that she grabbed your legs and not Courtney's, because I feel like that would have been a very different story if it was Courtney getting scared, not you.
Well, and it was funny because like my mind didn't go to Amber. My mind went to the kids. And I panicked for a second, like
kick, yeah,
that you would kick them.
That's why I think Emma really grabbed my leg so I couldn't kick her back.
Smart, very smart, very smart.
It was so funny because like somebody took the video obviously from the other side, and so she had been perfect. Like we couldn't see her from our side, but you could see the little tiny Amber body like poking up against the sheet.
That's funny.
My God.
Oh, that's great. So then I threw it to you guys. You guys did your thank yous. I'm trying to remember everything you guys said, because at this point, Lincoln, the whole time, every time I come sit down from emceeing, is it almost done? Oh, I want to play games with you. He just wanted to play cornhole so bad. So as soon as I said, so when you guys went up, I said, Kate, this is the last one. As soon as they're done, we're going. So I was just sitting there ready, just fired up to go. So you guys said all your thank yous. Is beautiful. Very heartfelt. Anything you guys remember from your thank you speech, or anything that you guys wanted to highlight? You thanked everybody beautifully, all the vendors, the DJ, made sure you spoke very highly of everybody, and just were very gracious in making everyone feel exactly what you're talking about earlier, Courtney, of just being that thankful to have this type of people around, and that they care about you this much because of how highly you value them. Right. And I feel like you guys really knocked that out of the park with your thank yous and your little speech there. It was awesome. Anything that you guys wanted to make sure you remember from that speech?
I loved Liam's part because I had written most of the thank you speech myself, especially with Liam just being so busy with
med school.
And so I had written like all of the thank yous to all of the main people, except for I forgot Terry, which I'm still heartbroken about. Like I thanked my aunts. I thanked Lori. I thanked Allison and Danica for their help with the hair and the music. And I forgot Terry when Terry was literally like a rock star.
Yeah, she was a star player for sure. But you're thanking her now.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I thanked her multiple times. She told me to stop thanking her.
Typical.
But I've got to see if somebody has a video of it, because like I would love for your parents to see like our thank you speeches, because we both thanked.
Oh yeah, well I'm sure they're recorded.
Yeah. I'll find it. But I loved your thank you, or your like talking about mom saying I love you.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We brought it home.
Yeah. Oh, that was perfect. So I think about the time I handed you guys the mic, because I knew it was the last one, I went up to the bar and ordered about 17 whiskeys at that point, because I wanted to get the party started. And I was so happy that as soon as everything ended, because usually at a wedding, you wait for the first dance, kind of the dance floor is off limits till the first dance. But not at this wedding. People were dancing right from the start. As soon as the speech ended, people were on the dance floor. All the kids were. So me and Lincoln went and played one game of sack toss, cornhole, whatever you want to call it. And then he looks at me and goes, "You want to go dance?" I was like, "Yeah, I do, kid. I don't think you realize how much I want to go dance. Let's go." So we went out, had a ton of fun there. And then first dance and all that was before the Ami shot and all that, I think.
No, so basically, like when we finished the speeches,
right?
Like you came up and you're like, so it's currently 7:45 and we're supposed to be doing, like, you're supposed to have gone for your sunset photos and you're back and now we're doing cake cutting. What do you think? And so I went to the photographers, because they had made a big emphasis on their like right before sunset is golden hour. That's when you get the best photos. We'd love a chance to steal you away. But we were supposed to do that at 7. Right. And like everything, just like the whole day had gotten pushed back, which I think is pretty common. But I went up to them and like, I think like every time that I interacted with them, they were expecting like somebody to be really intense, because every time, like when we got lost on the road, I could see the photographers kind of panicking, and I was like, I'm okay. Like, like we're not going to like be upset if like we're just rolling with it. But I went up to them. They were so awesome. By the end of the day, they were just like old friends. Yeah. But I was like, we would love to get these photos, but like, this is the part that we've been dreaming of. Like, we do not want to be away for a long time. What do you think? Can we get this done really quickly? He's like, yep, we'll get in our car. Like, we'll drive you. Like, they ended up driving us like right up to the lookout where we'd walked before. Like,
you guys went all the way there for more pictures?
Yeah. But the whole maneuver probably took 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. And so then
I was drinking heavily for that 20 minutes. I was just going up there and just getting double whiskeys the whole time, because I was wanting to have so much fun, but I was so adamant about not drinking until after my MC stuff was doing that. I got to watch everybody on the bus and all the cousins, everyone's drinking. And I was like, I need to play catch up. And I caught up.
Oh, I emphasize that, empathize. So, because like I knew my last role was the first dance. Like after that, it was game on.
And what a first dance it was. I'm so excited to get there. That's, I think, one of my favorite parts. That's why I'm excited to get there, because I got to watch you guys practice that thing for so long.
I was just gonna say, we took photos and came back. Yeah. And then
anything more about the photos, Courtney?
Oh no, the photos were great. The photos were amazing, and the team was so good. I can't say enough about them. They were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they were great.
And then we come. Oh, so what I was going to say when you're talking about the double whiskeys, so we were going to have a toonie bar the whole time. And then like a couple days before, Dad or Mom mentioned something about the open bar. And I was like, what do you mean open bar? And she's like, your dad wants to have an open bar now, because Mom and Dad were in charge of the alcohol. And I was like, really? Because like at first Mom had like done the calculation for the alcohol and it was like 75 beers. And I was like, Mom, there's no way that's enough. Like, it was just like completely off. There was a ton of wine. I was like, none of our friends drink. Well, they do drink wine, but like not to party. And then dad went like to the whole other end of the spectrum, completely overbought. And dad was like, it's only like 40 people really who are drinking. Like,
and we'll drink it eventually. If we don't finish it there, we'll take it home. Yeah,
exactly. So like, I just like absolutely love that it ended up being an open bar, but that wasn't the plan from the beginning.
Interesting.
So then we come back and we're trying to like organize, and like everybody you can tell wants to get on the dance floor, but we haven't done all the stuff. And we hadn't planned on having a cake cutting at first, but we'd ordered donuts because we're donut people, not necessarily cake people. But our donut person reached out and she's like, are you sure you don't want like just a small cake? It's only $80. I don't mind adding one to your order. And I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Like usually there is a cake cutting at weddings. So what the heck, we'll do it. So, and then the other thing that we wanted to do was a shot for our grandma Ami, because Ami had passed away a couple months ago, and we had hoped so much for her to make it to the wedding, but she was ready, and like her passing was as good as one can get at 91.
100%.
And we had already showed her the dance as well.
She got to see your guys' dance.
Yeah. Oh. Like a couple of weeks before that, she's like, I want to see your dance. So we filmed it here.
Man.
And like we had like I got into my wedding dress on like the day that Ami passed, whether she knew it or not. And and I had wanted to do this shot for Ami, or maybe it was mom's idea in the first place, but mom was really worried about, like, I wanted it to be the kickoff to the party. Right. And mom was worried if we didn't do it with the speeches that it would seem like she'd been forgotten. And so like the compromise was that we still acknowledged her during the wedding, and we had
I said a little something when I acknowledged the people that couldn't be there. I said a little something about Ami, and I said, and later we'll have a little tribute to her. Exactly.
So that was perfect.
Yeah.
But then, so as we're cutting the cake, the waiters handed out all these shots of the lemon vodka that Ami had made for the wedding. And I did not know if I would be able to get through the speech. So I had it like printed out and I was ready to pass it off to you if I had to. But I just like, for like whatever it was, I was able to get through it.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Talk about like how like Ami was the first person who met Liam, and if Liam hadn't passed the Ami test, there wasn't any hope. But that she would have wanted nothing more than to have an incredible party, and that you're going to have.
She liked the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really good, and I thought that went really well.
And then you guys cut the cake.
Yeah. And then it was time for the first dance, but I had to get my dress bustled. Like,
right. Yeah, you're like, I need my dress bustled. I was like, I don't know what that word means. I can't help you. I was like, what is bustled? Yeah, I thought you meant like someone's got. I thought you meant like carry behind. I was like, you're gonna do that whole dance with someone holding your dress up? Like, that is not gonna work.
Yeah. No. So basically, there's 5 buttons that basically like take the long train and attach it to your butt, so like it's just way more manageable. And so like the DJ kept being like, first dance coming up, like
done now.
And I'm really like feeling about like and my poor girls, like they're really hard to find, these stupid buttons. But they finally got it set. And so then and it was so funny because on the drive back from getting our photos done, and when it was just Liam and I in the back of the photographer and videographer's car, we knew that like we're gonna do the cake cutting, the Ami shot, and then his first dance. And Liam's like, I don't remember anything. I don't know what comes first. And like we'd learned all these
full panic mode.
I talked to you when you're in full panic mode, Liam, because you were saying like, I don't remember anything. I was like, don't worry about it. It's muscle memory. You're not going to remember it until you start doing it. It'll all come to you. You'll be fine.
And we had like I had bought this playlist on YouTube of like these 2-stepping tricks, moves, I guess.
Yeah.
Because we had been taking 2-stepping lessons right before COVID hit, and like Brett and Erica had come with us to one, and it was like a really elite ballroom champion who was teaching us, but it was quite like stiff and formal. So then with COVID not being able to go in, I found this thing on Instagram, and then we bought it, and it was actually really, really great. And then we chose our first dance song, which like we had kind of struggled on because like we both like our favorite artist together is Luke Combs. But we didn't want something like super country, because I find like a lot of country songs, there's always one line like, we love beautiful crazy, but it talks about like her always being late or something. I was like, ugh, like I just can't have that attributed to me.
She's beautiful, she's crazy, but she's not light apparently.
Very fair. Very fair.
Maybe the song could have been talking about me. That would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Just change a word.
Yeah.
But so we come across this like Leon Bridges with Luke Combs live version. It was perfect. The song was absolutely stunning, and we basically choreographed just a couple of the tricks into the dance together.
A couple. I think you're selling yourselves a little short. Let me take over.
Okay.
So they bust out this dance, and it is start to finish, like move after move, bingo to bango. So the whole crowd's watching this thing, and I've got to see you practice this a couple times in the basement at home, right, over the last year and a half or whatever. So I was prepared for some of it, but I've never seen it in its entirety, I don't think. But the crowd watching had no idea what they're prepared for. They just expected, a first dance is usually just some swaying, like sometimes you have something prepared. Maybe you bust out into a different song and start, popping, locking, but just like the move after move and just how smooth it was, and that you guys could tell that you'd practice it so much that you guys were enjoying it. You guys were smiling. You were enjoying it. The crowd's going nuts. Everyone, like, you guys were feeding off our energy. Everyone was feeding off yours. It was just such a perfect moment. Like, I've never seen a first dance that was that perfectly executed. You guys did such a good job. The song was perfect. I heard so many people singing that song, listen to that song. Bryn and all her friends, when they were out there, I could hear them singing the song. Like, it was just so perfect how you guys did that, and just how it all came together, and how much you guys busted your ass for it, because I got to see you guys practice that, and how all that practice paid off was just, can't even speak enough to how awesome it was. It was perfect, you guys. So good.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
So good. So you guys just absolutely kill this dance. There's flips, there's jumps, there's spins, there's dips, there's everything you could ever want in a dance. You guys just absolutely crush it. And then it's time for the father-daughter dance, which, so they go out, and I had already cried a ton. I was sitting there, I'm right front and center outside the dance floor area. I'm bawling because it's just a beautiful song. My dad and my sister, I'm just losing my shit there. I'm getting shit from Amber. Amber's telling me, you're useless. Like, why are you crying? Like, you can't be crying right now. Step it on. I'm like, you just got to get to know me. This is happening, right? And then out of nowhere, the song screeches and changes to what's that song called? Butterfly. Which is Ingo's favorite song. He always sang it, like, as a kid, and would embarrass me and Courtney by singing it. And it's got such a unique first noise that all of us there that know Ingo knew exactly what was happening the second it did. And all you see is just Courtney's head throw back in, like, embarrassment of, like, oh my God, what is happening? And then Ingo starts busting the move, and they start dancing. And he did kind of a little shimmy shake like this. And I thought he's inviting everyone on the dance floor. So I am full on out there. My tears went from just tears to, like, full on party mode. I'm out there with you guys, and everyone came in, and it was just such a special moment of just, like, and the funniest part was he didn't tell anybody he was going to do it. That was all on him, of just, like, so you guys didn't know, which is so funny, because I think if you would have tried, you would have put the kibosh on it again, right? Like,
well, I did because like we had talked about this
the weekend before,
like a couple weekends before.
It was a joke. We were literally playing cards, and I think Ingo threw it as a joke, and I was like, oh yeah, totally do it. Like,
no. Because, like, I said, like, I picked the song because it's beautiful, and it says a lot about, like, how like our relationship is. However, I was like, if you were to ask me straight up, like, what song I like think of my dad at, it's absolutely Butterfly. Yeah. And so Dad's like, Butterfly. I was like, yeah, like, because he calls it like lady or something. Yeah. And I played, he's like, oh my God, let's do this. And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, no, Dad, like, this is supposed to be a really nice moment. Yeah. Between you and I. And he asked me like 2 weeks before, he's like, should we do the surprise? I was like, no, Dad. And so then, of course, so like we get through 3/4 of this dance, and then I hear the music, and I first yeah. And I was like, oh my God, he did it. And so, like, again, props to the DJ for dealing with this like song that Mom did. And then Dad giving him this like thing to execute.
Curveball. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
We just started the dancing. Like, it was perfect.
And then the dancing didn't stop. I think I can't even tell any stories other than that, because I don't think from that moment I left the dance floor for more than 2 minutes the rest of that night. Cause like, I was telling everybody, like, all day, like I was saying, like, even in the morning, I was just, when you let me on that dance floor tonight, it is game over. I am going, because I've been talking about, and people that listen to the podcast, if this does get released, are going to know all I've talked about this whole COVID thing is that I just want to dance, and how, just wanted to let her buck, and everybody got that memo. I don't know if it's just because there's a couple of us, like, me and Kelsey and a couple people that just, I think if you have somebody going really hard on the dance floor, it's way less embarrassing to, do whatever moves you want to do, or what it was. Maybe it's just everyone cooped up, but that dance floor was hot. Oh, some of the best highlights was Laura coming out in multiple costume changes of like blow up. I think it was a blow up T-Rex at one point, and then she was a blow up shark swimming.
Walrus.
Oh, walrus.
Yeah. And then like he's doing the worm.
Yeah. Oh, that was a highlight. I think Kelsey doing the splits and that Russian kick dance was a highlight.
Yes.
Brandon did the splits.
No.
Like a guy split, but so I can't do that. Hell yeah, he did it. Yeah.
I missed it, but apparently I did hear about it. I don't think I saw it. I must have been on the other corner of the dance floor at that point. But then one of my personal favorites, this might be my favorite story of the whole wedding day, wedding night, was when we first started dancing, when I first started drinking. I just was I was looking at Brett, and he just looks so much like Freddie Mercury, right? And I told him, you know what, like you gotta go no shirt, just suspenders at some point tonight. Like you gotta do it. And I'm just getting him ramped up. And I started telling people, I told Chris and Kurt and our cousins, and it's just, I'm gonna get that guy over there to have no shirt on and just his suspenders by the end of this night. And I told his girlfriend, I said, I apologize, Erica. I've started something in motion. It's going to happen. I'm just telling you this. Like, this is hours before. So all night I'm just dropping on it. Like, man, when are you going to take the shirt off? You got to go just suspenders. You got to go. You got to go. So then later on the night, and this is a game changer, way back to the start of the day. You guys were all putting undershirts on when we were getting ready. And I said, I never wore an undershirt. Like, it seems like it'd be more hot and it's more sweaty to just have more clothes on. You guys are saying, no, it's like keeps you cool. It wicks the sweat. It's awesome. So I wore an undershirt, and it was a game changer all day. I felt so comfortable. I've never been that comfortable in a suit. Like I'm an undershirt believer.
I was gonna say I can't go back. It's undershirt.
Yeah. You can't go back.
Yeah. Cool.
Was that your idea, Court?
Liam's white shirt was a little see-through.
Right.
And so I ordered like I went into Moore's again, like not the best experience. Like they had all these weird undershirts that were like $50. I was like, I'm gonna go on Amazon, and like the cheapest one was like $20, and it came in a 3 or 4 pack. And I almost didn't pack the other ones. And I was like, should I? And like Liam's like, yeah, I'll just pop them in. Maybe the guys will want them. And then everybody was wearing these undershirts. And it was
Oh, it's great. But so we get to one point and we're talking about the undershirts on the dance floor. And I see Ingo in his shirt, and he's got his chest hair on. I said, that's the only drawback of the undershirt. You can't show off the chest hair on the dance floor. So I just took my undershirt and ripped it down to like where my buttons were. Right. And then eventually I think it was Kelsey. It might've been someone else. Just undid my shirt and took the undershirt and ripped it completely. So now I'm shirtless. And I think that kicked off the shirt thing. Cause then I turn around. Next time I come back on the dance floor, not only is Brett with no shirt, just suspended, but so is Liam. So I run on the dance floor selling, because that's all I wanted to accomplish the whole night, other than being the king of the dance floor, was to get Brett with no shirt, just suspenders. And not only did I get him, I got also Liam. So I was just over the top, and it was right near the end of the night too. I thought I had missed my chance. It was very close to 11 because we could only be there till 11. And I thought I missed my shot, but we got it. We made it happen. Pizza showed up, I don't know, 10:30, 11 after that beautiful dinner. We didn't know if anyone would like it. Got licked up. Everyone was so happy to see that pizza roll in, especially Barry. He's a pizza hound. I saw it on his face when it rolled in. He was pretty excited.
Yeah, something like that.
What's that?
I think it was at 9:30. Oh, and I forgot to say, the donuts were unreal.
Oh, and the donut board. Yes, the donuts were amazing. And that donut board with them all hanging looked so beautiful. The signage, it was
that for us. Like,
it was perfect.
Another highlight for me was going up and getting drinks and being greeted by Zara and Zachariah, and sometimes Lincoln behind the bar.
Oh, they were such good little bartenders.
Like, what can we get you, sir? Yeah. And so I told them what they wanted. They got me, and I was like, and then I was saying, are you guys getting tipped for your service? Because the lady was behind them. And Zachariah is like, yeah, I'm gonna save up for a dirt bike.
Nice. Oh man.
Oh, that's so funny. And they were just having such fun time.
They were awesome little bartenders there. That was so cute. And the actual bartender that was working was so nice to them and just treated them so good. And just they had the best time, those little tykes. Oh, so much fun. So yeah, we partied there, drinking, but we only had it till 11. Anything we're missing of the dance floor? Any more dance floor stories? Any more?
I think like I had completely forgotten this had happened, and thank God for Georgia. And she kept apologizing because like everybody knows I don't love like having photos taken of me every second, but Georgia documented this whole week so well.
Yeah,
so well.
She did a great job. Yeah.
And I will always treasure all of these photos and videos that she's taken. But she showed it to me the next day. But our true song is our Kentucky song, which is the most ballsy song of all time. Like there's no line that isn't like, I wouldn't I would not allow our grandparents to listen to.
Yeah.
And I had put it like the DJ asked that you have must play songs. And so I was like on one of them, I was like, it's Old Thing Back. It's like Biggie. Oh gosh, I can never remember the other people. Yeah. And so like this song was a song that like they played every time we got on the bus.
Yeah.
For a Kentucky song. So like that song always takes us right back to Southeast Asia. But it's so vulgar. And so I said to the DJ, I was like, I don't really know like when this will fit, but it would mean a lot to us if we could play it. I realize it's super vulgar, like, but if you can sneak it in there, like even like an instrumental, I was like, whatever. But he played that as like the final song.
Yeah.
And Georgia caught it on video, like us dancing together to our song, which was.
I'm glad you did because I do not remember that.
And I think you were shirtless already at that point too.
Shirtless.
I saw it the next day. I was like, wow. Like,
I don't remember it either. Oh, I guess on the dance floor, the other thing. I almost feel like I have to write love letters to each of my bridesmaids because they were all so incredible on the day. Each of them did. Each of them had like their own strengths and like ways that I will remember. Like I will be so thankful for them forever for helping on the day. But Laura is responsible. We were talking about this before. She's responsible for the 2 worst hangovers of my entire life. One being after Jess's wedding, like one of our other bridesmaids. Jess is one of my best friends from growing up, and she's married to Laura's brother. And she didn't meet Laura's brother through Laura and I. Like, it was just like a random
occurrence,
twist of fate where they all ended up being really good friends. But and then the other one was in New Zealand for my 27th birthday. Laura was like just like hell bent on getting me absolutely wasted. I blacked out. I don't remember how I got home that night in Queenstown. We sat in a food court for 4 hours and ate McDonald's twice the next day because we literally couldn't move. Like we were just so sick.
Yeah.
So Laura was on like Courtney fun patrol. And so literally we'd be on the dance floor and she would literally like just like put a shot in my hand, wait for me to take it back. And then she'd come back like 5 minutes later, like enough time to like to pass where like I would accept another shot. And like Laura was just like slowly feeding me drinks.
Yeah.
Champagne flute that I'm not kidding, full fireball, like almost fully full. And she's like, it's a shot. And I was like, okay, if you do one with me. And she's like, okay, I take it. And then she's like, fills it up again, gives it to me. And I was like, Laura. And she's like, it's your wedding. I was like, okay.
Oh, she was fun.
Yeah. She would come to me and like, she would trick me because she would give me fireball. And then the next time it would be army vodka. And I'd be expecting to so I was like, oh Jesus. Like,
no wonder you guys were so drunk. Cause I didn't really realize I was also so pickled at this point. Because like I said, I wanted to catch up, but then I caught up too quick and then I backed it off and I was better like later on in the night, like kind of around that time when the shirts came off, I was starting to get a little bit more control of myself in that. But that's so funny to hear that of kind of how you guys got so drunk because I didn't recognize this. So then I might, since you guys were both so drunk at this point, I might take over the storytelling and just tell you guys the rest of the story of what we did after that. So at around 11, right, we partied. The last song came on. It's perfect. Everybody's partying. You guys are hammered. I didn't see you guys go up to the bar once, but apparently Laura was on top of keeping you guys nice and liquored up. So that was perfect. So the bus comes and we're going to the Parrot, which is also, it's a bar and it's attached to the hotel that we're staying at, the one that you guys were at earlier that we talked about. So we're on the way there, but we were under the impression that the Parrot's only open till 12 and we can't dance there. But I had it in my head all night that, Courtney doesn't drink that often. If I see her drinking, I'm going to make sure that I have, like a spot and liquor for her to drink as long into the night as she wanted to. That was my goal. Until Courtney goes to bed, I want to make sure there's at least a party. So we all pile onto this bus and we're going to the Parrot. And I'm trying to make sure, because I know like it's going to be tough to get in and it's going to end soon. So I was like, I want to keep the party going at the beach. So I'm calling up all these people. I called up like Zach, our buddy from Penticton, and got him out. So he was bringing a 40 of gin to the beach outside of the Parrot for after. And I'm calling because Kale, and I'm with Kale, and Kale's my partner in crime that night, right? Like that night and then many nights after that, because I found out how fun it was to drink with Kale. But we're on the bus and he knows some people from Penticton. So I'm calling people on his phone, telling stories like Kale's the king of Penticton. He knows everybody. Every girl in Penticton is coming there. I'm just trying to create a party on the beach. Hammered, right? So we roll up at the Parrot. I think you guys are trying to get in. I'm at the front desk, just seeing if they have any connection. I'm just schmoozing this guy at the front desk, trying to like see if he has any pull to get us in. We can't. Eventually I'm over there and I get called saying, like, Nick, maybe Laura ran over and grabbed me. She's like, you need to go in now. And I'm like, all right, what's going on? So I run up and Courtney's at the very front and she's like, oh, he's here. So we go in and I thought everybody was coming in. So we just roll in like we're celebrating into the Parrot. Everyone thinks that me and Courtney are the bride and groom and is celebrating. So I recognize kind of like, I'm just celebrating, being myself. I'm hammered, just being a party. Realized midway through, like, no, I'm her brother. So I lose Courtney. I sit down on the table and start telling them this story. I think I cried. I told them how beautiful it was. You know, I'm very emotional. You know, and I try and, but I got to go find my sister. So I stop and another table, congratulate, here's a drink. You know, I sit down with them and I tell them the whole story. I still haven't found Courtney at this point. I don't know where Courtney is in the bar. You know, I'm telling the story. No, I'm the brother. It's all beautiful. I think I cried again, you know, but everyone's loving me. I'm just being a party. So then I finally get over to Courtney and some guy's like talking really close in her face. So I get up there and just kind of push him away. And I'm like, you know, what's going on? Like, what is this guy? Some weird stuff starts to happen with him. He propositions me for sex and I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. And he did not react very kindly. I don't know if he was just fucking with me or what. He's like, well, why not? I'm like, well, my girlfriend's standing outside the bar right now. Like, sorry, dude. I was very polite to him the whole time, but it looked very confrontational. And people around the bar, the friends that I'd made, were all coming. The first table, they were all in there like, no, this is not a fight. It's their wedding. Like, what are you doing to this guy? Right. Like, and then the second table comes over. So there's a big group. And then Allison, one of me and Courtney's friends from way back, finally breaks through. I think she didn't even get in. I think she just broke in, comes up seeing all this. Yeah. Seeing all this kerfuffle. She thinks I'm about to fight this dude. Right. And she's like, no, there's going to be no fighting. Just sneaks in, pulls us out of the bar, the both of us. And I'm like, this is not happening. So then we're out of the bar. We've got this crew and we're like, okay, we're going to the beach now. So we get you two for sure. I don't remember who came with us. Amber. I think Laura was still with us at this point. And we walk down to the beach. And we finally get down there. There's weird people everywhere just saying odd stuff. And it's just such an odd dynamic. We finally get out there.
I don't suggest to anybody going out in public in your wedding dress.
100%.
It definitely gets you a lot of attention you don't want.
Yeah. Weird tension. I didn't even recognize that. And I know that you hate attention in the best of times, let alone unaware if it's positive, negative, just weird tension. That is like the ultimate no. So I was like, what have I done? Brought in Court out into this madness. We finally get to the beach where we're partying and we meet up with Zach and they've got liquor and okay, mission accomplished. I turn around to go pee and I realize that, remember that carnival we talked about earlier that was right outside the hotel? So all the people that run the rides, you know, more affectionately known as carnies, have their living right where we're partying. So we're in the backyard. All the RVs where all the people that run the rides are staying are all right behind us. And we're on the beach on the other side. So it's all starting to click in my head of, oh, there's all these weird people around. There's this weird tension, just odd people, right? There's a whole other story of Alyssa and this chick that wanted to marry her. And next day, Lori said, no, that was like probably a trafficking person trying to steal her. And
oh, Jesus,
don't bark at me. My dog's getting mad. So then,
no.
Oh, hello. So then I turn around and I recognize all this kind of in the moment. And then I hear Courtney talking, or maybe I saw you throw your phone in the sand. Either way, I recognized all in like one moment, you know, when something just comes clear to you, like this is bad. I need to get you out of here kind of thing. I was like, I need to get Courtney and Liam home. So then we were literally at the beach for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops, maybe 5. And we start walking back. We get through and same thing, like you said, just having that wedding dress on was just attracting all this weird attention, even through the lobby of the hotel. Just everyone's going, but we're just like covert ops getting you home. We are Operation Saving Private Ryan. Get Courtney and Liam back to their room. And you guys kept saying, we're fine. We're so close to the hotel. Like, you guys don't need to come. No, we are getting you in. We're going to get you in there. So we get you up into your hotel room. There was pizza left. Courtney was very unhappy. Okay, go down. Courtney was very unhappy that it was only vegetarian pizza. And then we see me and Alyssa realize your feet are black, like dark and like up to the ankle in black. Like, I don't know what kind of partying we're getting up to. So we just took a couple good pictures of you, got you guys settled in, gave you some hugs, tried to call for a late checkout. They said no. Alyssa's on the phone for like 20 minutes with the guy trying to get a late checkout. And they said no. We even pulled the wedding card and all that. But at the end of the day, it was a beautiful night that was capped off. We had lots of fun. You guys had a lot of liquor, and I'm sure you guys had just plenty. The party did not need to go to the beach, but I made sure that if we were to go to the beach, we would have had something to drink there. Oh man. And then,
I would have to say, oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, well, I was going to say, and then you guys went to bed and I carried on till 4 a.m. that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had fun. I had lots of fun.
I'd have to say, just to fill in the gaps, like the reason I wasn't at the Parrot was because I'd gone up to the room to put the pizza and stuff
And the donut.
Oh,
on the table, so they're ready for us when we get home that night. And then I couldn't get into the Parrot because there was a big line. And then anyway, but then the best thing about it was coming back from the beach. I remember walking. There's a good picture of this. We're like walking with Amber.
Oh, yeah.
It was like the three of us like walking.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, like both have like our arms around Amber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is pretty funny. And then I remember the shots of like us just like scoffing down the pizza and the donuts with Courtney's like black feet on the couch.
Yeah.
And then after you guys left, I had the fun job of taking out like 100. Oh no, that's probably like 60 to 70 bobby pins out of Courtney's hair.
Oh,
Before going to bed.
Think of that. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
And then my dress had like these really like intricate buttons.
Right.
That you apparently need a tool to undo.
Well, nobody else needed a tool that whole day. But I was like, Liam, I need you to like to help me with these. And then all of a sudden I see like buttons like springing off. I was like,
I was like, eyes forward.
But it was so nice. Like even if we didn't feel ready to go to bed, we definitely like needed to go to bed.
Oh
Yeah. I think you guys are plenty ready for bed. That was the call I made when we got down the beach. I was like, oh yeah, these guys are ready for bed. I was probably ready for bed too at that point. I probably could have been put to bed too, but that was not your responsibility that night. You guys were my responsibility. And I made sure that you guys had liquor and parties till you didn't need any more and then got you to bed safely. But just to wrap it all up, just how rough it was to get there, but just how everything turned out in the end. It was just so beautiful. So beautiful. Anything else that we missed? Any fun stories? Anything else? I was going to maybe, if we had time, but we've already been going for like 3 hours here. I was going to say, talk about the Oktoberfest the next day, which was lots of fun, but probably best just to cap it at the wedding and all that stuff. But is there anything you guys think we missed? Anything else that we wouldn't ever want to forget about?
The one thing I wanted to say was because, like none of my Australian crew could come really, like in my bridal party, there was Mitch, Tom, and James. So, like I was lucky enough to have like awesome friends here, right? So obviously I had Brett, I had Devin, I had Kelsey step in.
Yeah, because Nick was always in it.
Oh yeah, Nick was always in it. Yeah.
Main event.
Yeah. But I just want to say like that was I don't know how to put it. Like to me, they were 100% not stand-ins, if that makes sense. Like they like I love all of them. Like they are the closest like people I have here, right? So I hope that they didn't feel like they were stand-ins. Like
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I hope that they know that. Like that was that was awesome. Yeah.
Such a good crew.
It was awesome. Like I don't think we could have asked for even the next day. The next day was very slow.
Oh man, packing.
No, and I took a while, but like we were both saying, like that was. Like all the stuff we had to go to get to that point, that day was awesome. Like,
and I had been like a couple days before it. I was like, I don't know how one day can be worth all of this, like all of these hurdles and all of the heartache that like all of the tears. I was like, I don't know how one day can make up for all of this, especially like just with like some of the things that kept coming up. And I was like, man, because like I like to think that in the world, and obviously this doesn't work out perfectly, but I like to think that like there are often trade-offs. And so if you have bad luck in one area, you'll have good luck in another. And I remember thinking like when COVID hit and Liam was working on the COVID floor and we'd been separated. I remember thinking like, if Liam gets into med school, all the hardship, like postponing the wedding and all that stuff will be worth it. And then he got in.
Yeah.
So all the hard things that we went through, like we had an absolutely incredible thing happen. But I was just thinking everything leading up to the wedding and how hard it was to get there. I just was like, I don't know how one day could make up like for all of the like stuff that we and again, not like our friends and family were safe and healthy through it all. So like nothing like in the grand scheme of things was that big of a deal, but it was just like there's so many things. And I remember just being like, I completely support people who elope, like just like keep it simple. But that day was worth it and more. Like that day afterwards, I was like, I am pro wedding again. Like that day, like I'm not somebody who dreamt about my wedding day as a kid. And even like when we were like I feel like we've always been like serious as a couple, but like I didn't really dream about my wedding day like until I had to plan it 50 times in a year.
Yeah.
And it was better than I could have ever.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that sums it up perfectly. I don't think it could have gone any better. I don't think anybody could have had any more fun. I don't think it could have been any more beautiful. And this dog is just absolutely scratching to get out. She's been locked in here with me for 3 hours. So maybe I'll go take her out for a quick pee. But I just want to say thank you for you guys for being such special people to attract all those 47 people that made that day so special. It was special for everybody involved, not just you guys. We all had just as much fun and enjoyed it. And I can only speak for myself, but I think I needed that just as much as you guys did. And I think there's probably a lot of people at that wedding that needed that much. So thank you guys for being awesome. I love you both.
Love you too.
Love you too. And thank you for being our MC. And then
no worries. No way. I really enjoyed both of those things. Right up my alley. Awesome. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, you guys will have to tell me what you think of that little bit different of an episode there, and kind of maybe what you think of the whole idea as itself. Maybe if you know somebody that's about to get married or just got married or is going through anything big that they'd like to document, maybe just ask them, hey, what would you think of ever doing this? Right. I'm open to it with a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. It might be something where you have to have that special personal connection for it to work. I don't think so. I think if you have a good enough host that can practice it and get good at it, but you could do it with anybody, and even just maybe have that as a service, like a podcast for hire, mercenary kind of thing, where people just want to document things or have certain conversations that they want to remember over time. That could just come in and you could facilitate that. So it's just another thing that I'm curious to try out. I'm curious to hear back from you guys what you think. And I just wanted to thank Courtney and Liam for being so vulnerable and talking about such an open thing. And we were kind of planning on seeing how it went and then seeing if we'd release it or not. And right after, they both said, yeah, no, we'd be very comfortable. And they've been such good supporters of the podcast and of myself. Just wanted to make sure I say a big thank you to them. And other than that, all the same old things. If you could give me a follow on all the social medias, that really helps the account. Follow on the YouTube page, that helps. Telling a friend about it. If you hear something, one of the episodes that really speaks to you or you think would speak to somebody you know, please pass it along. That's how these things grow. It's all by word of mouth, all the advertising and stuff. If I did any advertising, I shouldn't really say that so confidently since I don't advertise it at all. But even once I do, I still believe that word of mouth is how podcasts spread. It's something that people are so used to being force-fed all these things where you just get bombarded with commercials and everything, just trying to force you to watch something. It's a whole different when you choose to. And I like that. I like when you hear a recommendation from a friend, you just, oh, maybe I will check it out. I got a drive coming up. And that's what really hooks people, because now it's a choice that they made and they gave their time to try something out, not being, hoodwinked into it. So if you could do that, that helps as well. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Like I said in the intro, there's some really big things happening that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but I will be soon. And I can't wait to let you guys in on the secret. So enjoy your week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.